Altavista High School. It's the Governors from Nelson County taking on the Altavista Colonels. Bob out with Kyle Haney alongside, and KH have not had to do this year. And what I mean by this is Altavista coming off a loss.
Yeah, first-time loss of the season last night for the Colonels down on the road in Dan River. It was a wonderful ball game if you heard it. If you didn't hear it, check out the YouTube page because you'll want to hear it as soon as we get it up. It was a fun game to watch. Colonels don't come out on the good side of things, but I think they're going to bounce back just fine here tonight at home, senior night against the Governors, Bob.
Nelson County hit a lot of threes last night against William Campbell, and Brandon Garrett has been looking for some momentum with his group. He and I will talk here in the pregame show, and you'll hear his thoughts. Like we talked about, Altavista trying to get back on the winning track because, I mean, obviously you can't have a letdown in this one.
No, they have to win this one if they hope to keep pace with Dan River and set up a district regular season playoff game. That would be Friday, but you can't lose this one because then you would have 2 losses in the district. Dan River would only have 1. So this is a big one here tonight, Bob, and I think Altavista is going to bring their best to the table. You always get the best with Subway. Subway Eat Fresh, 2 great locations, Main Street and in the Walmart in Altavista. And speaking of the best, Bob, when you come to Altavista, you get the best athletic director and the best PA public address announcer as well. So there's a lot of great things about coming back home.
And the one thing about Subway in February, it's
February any $5 foot long, all month long. And when you get a big drink, you can get in on the foot-long frenzy where you could win free footlongs for life, Bob. Say that 3 times fast. Free footlongs for life.
I just want to win. I don't care if I can say it or not. I just want to win. When we come back, we will talk to the head coach of the Colonels, Coach Mike Carlero, and then Brandon Garrett. It's a Subway pregame show, Altavista and Nelson County, live from Altavista High School on 105.5 KD Country.
Check out these new in-store specials at your local Apple Market. Energize with 2 12-ounce Red Bulls for just $5. Or grab an extra large bag of Doritos for just $3.49 and a 24-pack of Coke only $6.99. Or enjoy a tasty chicken tender sandwich for just $2.49 at Riverside or Main Street and Gretna Apple Market locations. Visit the Apple Market's convenience stores soon.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Always fun to catch up with Mike Carlero. We haven't had to catch up with him in this manner after a loss. Colonels come off a tough one in Dan River. First off, Coach, just a great high school basketball game, probably the best one I've seen this year. I know you probably can't appreciate it as much in the heat of battle, but just talking about the game, I thought it was a really spirited contest for sure.
Well, yeah, that's an understatement to say spirited, but I guess it's a nice way to say it. Very intense, explosive atmosphere. There's no way to look at it, really. But a situation in which, our guys, I'm proud of them for hanging in and battling in a very tough situation, and got down and came back and had some chances. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned out of a loss like that in a tough environment to play, and the intensity level certainly was at the top of the charters, no doubt about that. So we're going to take it and we're going to use it as a learning tool for us, and hopefully we get back in that situation and we'll respond a little bit better. But with that being said, we still, for the most part, handled ourselves pretty doggone well, and we had a couple chances there and just didn't quite get it. And they had one of the seniors on senior night had a career quarter, in the fourth quarter. And you add all that up, and we come away with a loss.
Yeah, you talk about learning some things out of this one. What are the bullet points that you take away that you want your team to gather and apply and learn from the L?
Well, they came at us pretty hard defensively, pressure-wise, and it's good that they did. We need to see that. I'm not sure we'll see anybody put that kind of pressure on the rest of the way, no matter where we go or who we're playing. So, once we get our feet wet with that, I think we'll be a little better the next time around. Certainly hope so. In the plus side of it, too, really proud of, our guys inside, the Twins going at them on the glass. I mean, it was a war in the paint. There's no doubt about that. And I think the Twins between them had 43 points and about 17 rebounds. So, they stepped up huge. And that's got to carry us and give us some confidence down the road that we can go in the paint against anyone. So those are all pluses for us. Obviously, the loss is tough. But you'd rather lose now than keep on winning and lose it, somewhere down the road. So it's tough. We got to bounce back. That's the big thing, too. Part of our conversation this morning at shoot-around was, everybody gets knocked down in all phases of life. It's how you respond and get back up. So we're going to get back up on that horse, and we're going to try to go at it.
And Darius was a monster defensively. Demetrius hits that big three, and we've talked about this a little bit. I just talked about the growth of the Twins from, where they were to where they are now.
Tremendous growth, no doubt about it, from their freshman year. Hey, they're sophomores, so talking about getting thrown into the baptism of a game like last night. They did a great job. Darius had 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 block shots. I mean, those are numbers that anybody would want. Demetrius had a big three at the end of the third quarter. He had 16 points. I think he had 8 rebounds. So the Twins have come a long way. There's still plenty of improvement there, but we're making progress. This is a process, with the whole team, with the youth that we have. But couldn't be prouder of 2 guys in a really tough situation last night.
And, and Thornhill, too. I mean, and I try to bring this up a lot more, because I think, even I don't think about it sometimes, these guys are only sophomores, and while they're going to be, spectacular moments, they're also growing pains. So I think your trio of sophomores, just those 3 are definitely big helps. Talk about it real quick. Adams got real hot for them, and, I'm trying to think back in my 10-plus years with you guys now, and I can't think of at least one person getting that hot in, just 3 minutes. What'd you see out of him in that fourth quarter?
Well, he hit the threes. He hit 3 threes, and he hit a running bank shot that's just, you shoot that 10 times, you probably will go for 10. But, it was one of those nights that, he stepped up and, he played the quarter of his life. He had 17 points in the fourth quarter, and they had us on our heels. We were trying to, the way they like to penetrate, we're really trying to get our wings to help early on him. I thought Josh Walker did a good job of stunting at the ball and trying to get him, to get the ball up, and we tried to deny him a little bit, but, that happens. The guys get hot, and, he did, and obviously knocked down some big shots. He looked, his three shot really looked good for him, and, got in the lane on, like I said, on that one shot was pretty amazing. So that doesn't always happen, but last night it did, and even with that, we still had our chances. We were 52-52, and I thought we had them on our heels. And Darius missed a little soft bank shot he'd been hitting all night. We would have gone up 2 with 2+ minutes, and it just didn't happen at that point. So it wasn't meant to be, but hopefully, we're not going to give up too many more quarters to an individual like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a once-in-a-lifetime type thing, we hope. Nelson County comes in, and I've kind of talked about it. I think it's a great thing to have a game after a night where you want to get a bad taste out of your mouth. Agree or disagree?
Well, we want to get back out and play, and fatigue and emotional letdown probably will be a little bit of a factor, so we got to be tough enough to get back up and go at it. It's senior night for us. We're certainly going to honor our 3 seniors, Josh, Eric, and Jacob, and hopefully we'll send them out on a good note. But with that being said, it's another dogwood game, and we know Nelson's going to come in and they're going to battle. Nelson lost to William Campbell last night, but I noticed they hit 11 threes, so they're probably feeling pretty good about shooting the ball. And shooting the ball is the most, the factor of the game that you can't really count on one way or the other. As Dan River shot it against us last night, Nelson comes in feeling pretty good about shooting. So we got to be ready to play. We got to have intensity. We got to forget about last night. We got to play. I think we have to go out and get them defensively. And I think we got to take advantage of our post play.
And before we get into shout-outs, now if everybody takes care of business between you and Dan River I guess, Wednesday night when they have their last district game this coming week, there would be a playoff game next Friday, correct?
Yeah, the group will be next Friday. Right now, it is supposed to be at Gretna. That's what my understanding is.
So sayonara Randolph Henry on Wednesday.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
We had talked to them about trying to move it some other spot. It's too close to that Friday night game.
Right. Understandable. Shout-outs. I always understand shout-outs very well. What you got for me tonight?
All right. Saturday night, Colonel, shout-outs to my father and Dottie. And, yes, I have some friends in Buena Vista, and I will reveal their names for years over with to Bob, but I'm not doing it right now. Benny and Billy. Billy is continuing to recover and doing a good job. Hang in there, Billy. They're down in Orlando. I'm sure it's a little warmer down there than here right now. Micah, Heather, McKinley, and Miranda. And little brother is on the way now. Micah's a big Ravens fan, and tomorrow's a big game for him, but Heather may also be giving birth to his son, so that may be interesting there. Ashley is home for the weekend enjoying Colonel basketball, and Mom's cooking, so she is with us. Nick, I hope, is listening in at JMU, and Fran in Philly, and Chris in Maryland. As always, our neighbors, Sarah and Swanson, and Miss Dodson, Kathy Dodson, and Harriet are at the gate, so I think we got it covered.
Super Bowl pick. It's the Buena Vista Bowl here tonight at Altavista with you and Coach Garrett, but the Super Bowl on Sunday, before we get out, a pick.
I think Harbaugh's going to win.
I do too. I'm with you on that one.
You put me on the spot, Bob. Everybody's picking the Ravens, and for some reason, I'm going to stay with everybody. I'm going to say 24-21 Baltimore, a Harbaugh win and a Harbaugh loss.
I'm going Ravens 33-17, which if you and I are both going Ravens, I think the 49ers are probably the safe pick.
That means San Francisco's the winner. That's right.
Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again very soon.
This sounds great. Thanks, Bob.
Brandon Garrett on the other side on the pregame show on 105.5, the Subway pregame show on 105.5 Katy Country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 Katy Country.
Always fun for me to catch up with the head coach of the Nelson County Governors, Brandon Garrett, the Buena Vista Bowl this week, or tonight here in Altavista. Coach, you guys take one last night on the chin to William Campbell, but really stroked the three ball from what I hear. What's been kind of going right for the Governors without getting W's per se?
Well, Tyler Best has finally, stepped up. He's been real inconsistent all year. The last couple games he's played well. We got in a hole last night, and we cut it back to 4. We made some bad plays, a couple bad turnovers, a couple missed box outs, and let William Campbell capitalize on those. But really, I think our main thing is Tyler's actually started to really get going.
It's hard to get confidence without getting W's. Without the W's, how hard is it to get the confidence?
It's extremely difficult. I think kids at this age, 15, 17 years old, the outside world, sees that win. I think that's how our society is. But I think we've proved to ourselves that we can play with teams. We play with good teams for certain periods of time. We just have to put it together for 32 minutes.
We talked earlier in this season about several times when you play a good team, it seems like it's a Coach, it's a lights-out shot night from the other team. Talk about how you can maybe prevent Altavista from going crazy tonight.
Well, we're just going to have to get out there and challenge shots and, play fundamental basketball and help each other out. They got several guys that can shoot the ball. When we played them at our place, I think they have 5 or 6 guys hit a three, and it's not typical. So it's going to be a tough night for us to defend a three. And then when you do that, you take that away. They got a couple guys inside that creates problems.
You can't choose the schedule. They had Dan River last night, and they're coming off a loss, their first one of the year. Do you think that affects their mindset coming into the game against you guys tonight?
Well, I don't think with Mike. I don't think Mike would let them, do that. But at the same time, it could be either way. They could feel, a little down, or they could want, some revenge. So it could work both ways.
Coach, best of luck to you tonight. I asked Coach Carlero, and I'll ask you Super Bowl prediction with the big game being tomorrow.
I think the 49ers just have a little bit too much offense. I'm going to go 24-16 for 49ers.
And he went Ravens, so it's a true battle between the two guys from Buena Vista. Coach, as always, best of luck.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob.
Brandon Garrett on the Subway pregame show. More after this on 105.5 Katy Country.
Try a variety of daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced, with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 Katy Country.
Bob Alvis, Kyle Haney,
It's
Nick,
Groundhog Day,
Nick
Bob.
Bailey.
You don't remember that movie? God, here we go.
I've never seen the movie.
Jeez, this guy. There's four
All right.
people. There's 4 people in the press box right now.
I'm going to see ya.
3 of us have seen the movie Groundhog Day, and Bob is obviously the only one.
I feel like I live it every day, though. I mean,
So you know the premise.
I know the premise,
He knows
right?
the premise,
I know
but
the
he's
premise. Never seen the movie. And I like Bill Murray.
You're one of these new school pop culture guys. You just get on the internet and you go to chat rooms and find out what stuff is about without actually having to do the work, huh?
I don't even know who the Kardashians are in these things. I'm in no point cool.
Well, hey, Bob, let me hip you to something else. Not only is it Groundhog Day, also the day the music died, the plane crash of Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, Clear Lake, Iowa.
Now, I've heard of all those guys.
Yes, you have.
And I know Poxitani Phil did not see a shadow, so that means an early spring.
I'm predicting
supposedly.
March 21st.
What are you predicting for tonight? I'm predicting some basketball here from Altavista. It's a little bit of inclement weather in Lynchburg earlier today. I don't know, maybe inclement's a strong word. It was snowing a decent pace.
Yeah, it wasn't like the blizzard in Groundhog Day. It's not. I don't think anybody's going to get stuck. But yeah, there was a little bit of weather, so they tried to start the JV game a little early. I think it's going to end up being a wash because you've got the senior night festivities before the varsity game. As far as a prediction for tonight, you hope it's not a Groundhog Day for the Colonels as far as repeating a loss, if you're an Altavista fan anyway. And I think the Colonels are going to get back on the horse and ride and bounce back and have a nice game tonight. You mentioned it with Coach Garrett and Coach Cardalero. Nelson County, when you hit 11 threes in a game like they did last night against William Campbell, it's got to scare you a little bit, a team having confidence from behind the arc like that.
Well, and I mean, the other thing, with all due respect to Nelson, is they're playing with house money. I mean, nothing to lose coming into this one. They have not had as good of a year as Brandon Garrett and staff have wanted the team to have. So, really, they're just kind of going with the nothing to lose thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if your house money cliche is necessarily
like that.
I don't know if it's just. I'm not sure it's applicable here, but yeah, Nelson County hasn't had the year that they've wanted to have. So you're right. I think they're just going to let it all hang out. I think if they were playing with house money, that would mean they've had a better year than they thought they've had, and they've exceeded expectations.
See, look how well I'm up on these pop culture sayings.
I mean, we got to give Bob a hard time.
But I was
giving Bob a hard time earlier, so I just stay on that train.
The thing about it is Nelson County is going to have to go on the road somewhere in that first round of the district, and I don't think a result positively is going to change things tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even if Nelson gets a win here tonight, their seeding in the district is probably pretty much set, although it may help them out as far as regional chances are. I mean, they're still fighting for that Division I regional spot. They're going to announce some seniors from some other sports and from the pep band here.
And pretty much everyone can get into regionals, you know. There's only 5 teams that don't from each division, so
you still got to play hard for that, even if you're Nelson.
Now we might have a guest at halftime, Miss Sarah Maddox, one of the staff members of the Altavista girls team, because they're going to have some time off.
Yeah, their season is done. They beat Dan River last night. They ran the table, undefeated in the Dogwood District. Not undefeated on the year, but I think they were like 16-3 or something like that on the year. Maybe
One loss
17-3.
One loss to Brookville, one loss to JF.
2 to JF.
2 to JF, pardon me.
And I believe that's it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they're going to have some time off. You're right. They'll have a bye in the first round of the Dogwood District. That second round Dogwood District game will be live on 105.5 or kdcountry.com. So we're looking forward to that.
And that will be Tuesday. It's a week from this
sounds
Tuesday.
Right, yeah. That sounds right.
But, I mean, you look at it, that's
basically a week and a half.
10 days off.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
If you're Coach Spencer, you know, that's where her experience is going to come in. I mean, how do you handle that? You certainly can't practice hard for 10 days. I'm not saying she'll just completely give them a day off, but you would think maybe a few light days in there here or there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a situation to where, you know, you can't do the old bring in another team scrimmage. I think the VHSL kind of frowns on that a little bit. They've gotten a little liberal with the off-season practice rules, but not, you know, bringing in
you can't bring in a sparring partner from out of town.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the seniors they're going to talk about here in a few minutes from Altavista. Josh Walker, Jacob McClure, and Eric Poindexter, all 3 seniors for Altavista. We'll go ahead and give you the lineup for Altavista. They're all starting tonight, and then they'll be joined by Juan Thornhill and Darius Johnson. We'll touch on that again in a few moments. But, you know, those 3 guys are, I think, going to be very important and key parts as we get down the stretch here. Well, when I say the stretch, get into postseason, second season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Bob. They are going to be counted on for their senior leadership, and we've talked about all year how this Altavista basketball team has great balance. They've got young guys, and then they've got some old guys like those 3 seniors, and those 3 guys are definitely going to be counted on in postseason play. You know, and not just for minutes and what they do on the court, but just their presence and their attitude and that sort of thing, leadership skills.
But and it's the case too, you know, to where I think Jacob McClure could be the most improved person on the team. He was on the team last year, didn't get as much minutes as he's been getting this year, but I think he's been more than solid.
Absolutely. Jake the Snake is the nickname that we gave him about, maybe halfway through.
Right, and we don't know if people ever like our nicknames. I mean,
No, we should ask Jacob that.
Probably not a good idea.
Maybe at least ask Coach Cardallero to ask him. But, Jacob McClure is a guy who you've heard Coach Cardallero talk about him before. He's just a workhorse. He's a gym rat. He does all those little things. He takes the charges. He plays the tough defense. He's not the quickest guy or the biggest guy, but he finds a way to make an impact. And that's why we chose the Jake the Snake nickname, because he's not, you know, when you're out there in the forest, you don't see the snake.
Right.
He just comes up from behind you and bites you, and that's the way Jacob is. You never quite know when he's going to hurt you, but he will find a way to hurt the other team throughout the game.
And, you know, if you're a college fan, and I'll go back a few years, and if Oscar Briggs is listening, I'm sure I'm going to get the head shake right here. He kind of reminds me of a Shane Battier, to where he does a whole lot of stuff well.
Yes, he does a lot of things well. He does a lot of things that don't show up in the box score the next day, too, although he has been known to knock down a 3 or 2 or 4.
Next guy to talk about, Eric Poindexter. I mean, you know, it feels like Eric's been here for forever. I mean, there's been a Poindexter on this floor for a while with Mike before him, and I think Eric was, a freshman when Mike was a senior, or something like that. Close.
I believe
maybe a sophomore.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Mike is usually in the crowd at the Altavista games, his big brother, and Eric, you're right, has been on the team for a while. I think he was one of those guys that was a mid-season call-up for the JV team, and he's made an impact ever since. He's a quick, speedy guard. He's got the leadership. We saw him make some great passes last night, and he's a guy that he's just another one of those guys you've got to have if you want to have a good team.
Josh Walker, the final man, hasn't been in the program his whole time because he hasn't been at Altavista forever. but he's been very dependable and been very counted on for this Altavista club.
Yeah, been a varsity player for 3 years. He can play inside, he can play outside, and even though we didn't see his brother for Altavista, we're used to seeing a Walker out there running around somewhere. Brother Chris was at Russburg, and we know his other two brothers very well, Flip and Ricky. They might even be listening tonight.
Hope so. Hi, if they are.
Absolutely. And Josh is, again, just another one of those solid players who's going to do a bunch of things that don't show up in the stat sheet, and he is going to do a lot of things that help your team win.
The one thing I've learned tonight is you never know who's listening when. So.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Bill
Murray's listening. He's not going to be happy with you for not having seen Groundhog.
Well, maybe I can get a free autographed copy, send the mail. I mean, that's what I'm really going for here.
Yeah.
Nelson County, like we talked about, Kyle, nothing to lose tonight coming in, and we'll see how this one goes, as it's going to get started here very shortly. Altavista and Nelson County from Altavista High School on 105.5 KD Country.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Check out these new in-store specials at your local Apple Market. Energize with 2 12-ounce Red Bulls for just $5. Or grab an extra large bag of Doritos for just $3.49 and a 24-pack of Coke only $6.99. Or enjoy a tasty chicken tender sandwich for just $2.49 at Riverside or Main Street and Gretna Apple Market locations. Visit the Apple Market's convenience stores soon.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Bob Alvis, Kyle Haney, Kenny Hunt, and Mr. Dean Hubbard up here for the, tell you, this is a coordinated event here with the event of the light show. Oh gosh, I need a vacation.
The lights haven't gone out just yet, but they will shortly when Altavista starters are announced. Starters for Nelson County, Bob, number 0, which I love, Kelly Kirby, Agent 0. Number 1, Dre Brown. Number 4, Brandon Gray. Number 32, Tyler Vest. And number 44, Tony Barnett. And of course, coached by Brandon Garrett, who you already mentioned, Buena Vista native, like Coach Cardelero. So I like what you call it, the Buena Vista Bowl Part 2, I suppose, because we already round 1 up in Nelson County. Altavista, if you remember, won that one pretty handily.
I mean, if you look at all the times they've played, I don't know what number Buena Vista Bowl this would be.
Yeah.
Because 4 times, 1 season, even just a few years back. Altavista is going to go with the seniors of Josh Walker, Jacob McClure, Eric Poindexter. They'll be joined by Darius Johnson and Juan Thornhill.
Yes, and they're extending the light show a little bit tonight just for dramatic effect.
I like that.
I love it. You got to mix it up from time to time. Bob, let me tie in the song from earlier for you. Sonny and Cher, I Got You, Babe, was the song that Bill Murray woke up to every day on Groundhog Day in the movie. That's why our producer, Nick Bailey, played that chorus. And the best PA man in the business, Kenny Hunt, he takes advantage of not having the music and just gets the crowd to get loud and large and in charge, and now it's almost time for the starters.
Lights show a little bit of a hiccup tonight, so if you were planning on this one game, sorry.
But you're still going to have some games in the district tournament.
Yes. Try again, part 2. And you did mention the district tournament games, which will start Monday a week. In terms of the Dogwood District Tournament, there will be a playoff game on Friday. Location not 100% in stone, although it's looking like it's Gretna High School for that tournament on Friday. Then the loser of that game will turn around on Monday and play, and then the boys' tournament will go Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right, and again, the situation as far as the district standings go, Altavista and Dan River each have one loss to their credit. They've beaten each other once, both teams. So if both teams can win their respective last district games, Altavista here tonight against Nelson and Dan River against Gretna on Tuesday or Wednesday, then they'll meet up Friday for that district championship game. If one of them wins and one of them loses, that would make the winning team the outright champion of the district. This game tonight, Bob, very important for Altavista. They want to keep pace and they want to set up that rematch with Dan River for a district playoff.
Yeah, and I just thought of something. The girls' tournament will start on Friday, has planned, and go Friday, Tuesday, Friday. I don't know if Gretna's in that 2, 3, or 4 hole, but that would be almost either a problem or a doubleheader. I'm not sure.
I think the powers that be, the athletic directors in the Dogwood District, will get it together and get straight and figure out a schedule that accommodates for everybody. They're a lot smarter than we are, Bob. Don't worry. I think they've thought about that already.
7 heads are much better than mine or yours or ours put together. Altavista, like we mentioned, coming off a loss last night, so it should be interesting to see how they bounce back, and I'm sure Mike Cardellaro would like to get the legs stretched a little bit too in terms of getting more people out there. Last night Altavista didn't really get to go deep into the bench.
Yeah, they didn't use a whole bunch of guys last night. It was about 6 or 7 guys mainly. Normally Altavista goes a little bit deeper. In fact, on the previous game against Appomattox, Bob, we saw them rotating everybody in 5 at a time. Don't know if you'll see that tonight or not. A lot of it probably depends on how the game goes.
One down in terms of Michi Malbeck. In case you weren't at Dan River last night, he got ejected, which gives him a seat for this next game. Michi is here, not allowed to be on the bench though, but he is just a row or 2 behind the bench. So that's one down. But you bring up Canavis Jones from JV. Navy got in at the William Campbell game was his first game, so that's been 2 or 3 games since then.
Yeah.
So I think the feet are wet for Canavis.
Yeah, I think he's got his sea legs now. Somebody once said, once you play one game, you're a varsity player. So he's had 3 under his belt, so he should be fine. And some people that always have experience under their belt are our sponsors. Apple Markets. Check out the weekly specials at all 3 Altavista area locations. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving family since 1905. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Feller Chevrolet, where a short drive will save you money. Thank them for the YouTube rebroadcast. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, voted best Mexican restaurant by their customers. English is your complete home center. See them for atrium vinyl windows. And First National Bank, Bob, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Colonels win the tip.
They're shooting to our right. Dressed in the white uniforms tonight. Orange stripe down the side is solid. And then there's a little thin line of black going down. A is in a diamond on the right, or on the left leg, pardon me. And the numeral is in orange, outlined in black on the back. Colonel's written on the front in orange, outlined in black. They stick it down low to Darius Johnson. Johnson trying to outline it through the box on the glass, 2-0 with Darius's kiss.
Good bank shot by Darius Johnson. Even better pass by the senior, the aforementioned Josh Walker. Nice assist from Walker.
Vest, he'll fire from 3, and it's good. Tyler Vest sinks one from deep, and Nelson County back in front.
We talked about they shot the 3-ball well last night, Bob.
Thornhill short on that one. Rebounded by the Governors.
And you can bet Coach Cardellaro mentioned that to his guys. Hey, when they step out from behind the arc, you better be right in their face, and you better have at least 1 or 2 hands up when they're putting the shot up.
Kelly Kirby with the rock. Kirby brings it around the right side, pitches it back. Thornhill almost had the steal. Governors fire a 3. And I'll tell you, they're picking up right where they left off last evening. Gray sinks one in at 6-2.
No kidding. They made 11 last night. Don't know what the percentage was, but I know what it is tonight. They're 100%. They've made both shots that they've taken. They've both been three-pointers. They've got a 6-2 lead.
Who says we're not smart? Thornhill drives in, cuts through the defense, gets the shot up and one.
Nice penetration by Juan Thornhill. Gets fouled in the act. He'll have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play, Bob.
Dre Brown on the foul.
Using the new school behind-the-arc three-point play.
Shot is up and in by Thornhill.
How long do you think they debated the three-point line before they actually instituted it?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know how, heated it was, at least.
Right.
6-5. Vest with the basketball. I mean, you think I'm an old school guy. I mean, imagine how many people to, give an extra point on a shot.
Exactly.
Governor's with it behind the arc. Now they're a couple steps inside. Kirby, though, he's behind it. He'll fire front iron. No good. Rebound comes down to Nelson. Vest with it. Vest guarded by McClure. Vest looking for somewhere to go. Goes in the corner. Three-pointer by Brown. That won't fall down. Rebounded by McClure. That three ball can give you a false sense of confidence, though, if you knock down a couple early.
Absolutely right. They made their first two. They missed their next two. And normally a good team is going to shoot around 30% from three-point land. You get a foul away from the basketball here. This is on Nelson County.
Tony Barnett.
Yep. But you're right, Bob. If you hit a couple early, you think, oh, it's easy. We'll just keep shooting it. I'm J.J. Reddick out
right.
there. But it's not that easy. It's not a high percentage shot from out there.
Eric Poindexter is going to inbound it on the baseline. Three-pointer up by McClure. That's going to be overshot. No good. Walker gets the rebound. Saves it to Darius Johnson. Johnson sticks two in off the window.
Wow.
7-6 Colonels.
Great play by Josh Walker, Bob. He saves it, gets the rebound, and gets an assist all in the same play. Good stuff.
Governor's with the rock. Kirby looking for somewhere to go. Guarded by Poindexter. Now gets it back to Vest. Stuck inside to Brown. Shot is up, and it's going to rattle down for Dre Brown. And the Governors go back in front 8-7 as we have played almost 3 minutes here from Altavista High School. Three-pointer hoisted by Walker. That's going to hit off the back of the iron. No good. Rebounded by Poindexter. Poindexter lost it on the way up. Darius Johnson grabs it, sticks it up. Won't fall. Second try is going to go down.
Got his own rebound. Got mugged on the first shot. Don't know why there wasn't a whistle. Darius never stopped playing, but it was to his advantage.
How strong is Johnson to get that up? Because he was not in a good angle when he took that shot up.
And he had some arms draped around his neck, too.
Johnson guarding Kenneth Patrick, who's in the game for Nelson. Gray drives in, pitches back to Vest. Vest comes all the way through. Left-handed layup is going to be no good. Rebounded by Walker. Walker gives it off to Thornhill. Nelson very aggressive in the backcourt, too. Poindexter gets inside the arc, gives it off to Johnson. Darius with the basketball, and they're going to call on the floor foul. And we'll see who this is on.
Subs getting ready to check in as they flash the foul up. 9-8, Altavista leads. 4:23 remaining here in the Apple Market first quarter. And here comes Richard Hubbard and Canavis Jones. They'll check in for two of those seniors. Poindexter and McClure. Demetrius Johnson coming out as well. Coming in the game, excuse me.
Canavis Jones checks in, along with Hubbard and the Johnsons and Juan Thornhill. Thornhill catches far side. Thornhill gets to the line, leaves it off for Darius Johnson, and Johnson gets it to go in.
Great pass. Juan Thornhill driving in the lane, and then everybody has to collapse on Juan. He throws it over the top to Johnson. Another great feed from Juan Thornhill. We saw one in particular that was super last night, Bob.
Vest with the basketball. Gets it off to Gray, and a whistle up top, and a foul.
You don't get style points for the assist, but, sometimes you should. Juan Thornhill makes some very slick passes out there sometimes. Over the head, behind the back. He does it all.
Well, you're a trendsetter. I can see you getting that to catch on with the style points. Thornhill is going to take the charge. It'll be on Vest. It's Vest first. Fourth one on the Governors as we hit 3:57 to go. And the Governors already have 4 team fouls.
Yeah, not only does Thornhill make the flashy passes, he does the dirty work and the gritty stuff. Taking the charge right there from Vest. Nice job by number 2, super sophomore Juan Thornhill.
Hubbard with the basketball. No seniors on the floor right now for Altavista. Jones over to Thornhill. Thornhill drives in. Thornhill puts up a soft shot. No good. Rebound is going to come down. Picked up by Nelson. Kirby with the rock. Gets it off. Three-pointer up by the Governors. Too strong. Rebound. It's going to come down to Gray. And a jump ball. And it's going to stay to Altavista.
Richard Hubbard getting in there, tying up Brandon Gray. Good job on the offensive glass, though, by Gray to come away with the rebound.
Basketball belongs to Gray. Now over to Vest. Vest guarded by Hubbard. Vest gives it off to Patrick. Patrick turns and spins. Has no one to go to. Goes to Kirby instead. Kirby drives all the way through. Tries to pitch it back. Taken away. Thornhill can't pick up the loose ball, and it's going to be off of Altavista. It's going back to Nelson.
Yeah, Juan got his hands on it. Almost had a steal, but couldn't quite collect it. Full court man-to-man defense for the Colonels, making it tough on Nelson to break the timeline.
Almost showed off the soccer skills there as well. Ball goes down to the ground again. Jones trying to get in, cannot. Tell you what, I think you got to like the activity level of Altavista, though, defensively.
Yeah, they're fighting. They're getting after every loose ball. They're diving on the floor, making nothing easy for Nelson County. And you know the Governors weren't going to take anything for granted coming in this gym. This is a good ball game so far. Altavista leads by 3, 11-8, 2:59 to go in the first quarter.
Dylan Allen checks in for Altavista. Canavis, the JV call-up, is Canavis a sophomore or is he a freshman?
I believe Canavis Jones is a sophomore.
Okay. Over to Hubbard.
99% sure I'm right on that. Another one of those super sophomores,
right.
Bob.
If you're 99, that's a normal person's 100. Thornhill takes a shot, hits off the back iron, no good. Patrick with the board. 2.5 to go here in quarter one. 11-8, Colonels by 3. Vest with the basketball, gets it over to Patrick.
I'm getting the signal from Oscar Briggs that Canavis Jones is just a freshman, though. So
okay.
The jury is still out, apparently.
Not out on Patrick's shot, though. 11-10.
No, nice shot there.
Off the window.
My defense will not rest, though. I'm gonna get some research done and prove that he's a sophomore.
I think Oscar Briggs' legal team's a little bit better than yours. Dylan Allen with the basketball, gets it over to Demetrius Johnson now inside, and Johnson won't get it to fall, but he's going to be fouled, and that is foul number 5 on the Governors.
Yeah, just one team foul on Altavista, so Colonel's defense is, according to the foul situation anyway, has been pretty good.
First one on White.
Oscar does have the best legal team money can buy. He's got Jackie Childs on his legal team. His face is your case.
Demetrius Johnson over to Richard Hubbard. Now to Canavis Jones. Navy drives all the way in, lays it up, and won't fall down. Johnson tries to get it back. Can't get it to go. And a foul against Nelson again. And we'll see who this is on.
Yeah, and you know, the foul situation is 6-1. Nelson has 6. Altavista has 1. Fouls on agent 0.
Kelly Kirby.
And I think they're legitimate fouls. I don't think it's a situation where Altavista's, getting easy calls here, getting the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I think Nelson County is just, they're trying to prevent Altavista from scoring. And they're making too much contact when they do. First free throw up and in by Demetrius Johnson.
I've always been the guy who says that's a case where if you're Brandon Garrett and an official comes over in your vicinity, just turn and ask either Paul Pelt or Kelly Decker or Coach Johnson, one of your assistants, hey, is it 6-1?
Right.
Right. Just something like that. I mean, you don't have to be boisterous about it or anything.
There's definitely a tactful way to do it, and that the good coaches do that. They know how to slip those little things in there without offending a ref.
13-10. Vest with the basketball. Now we're to Patrick. Patrick, ball above the head, looking for somewhere to go. Tried to make an easy little pass. And a foul against Nelson. And that is number 7.
Yep. So Altavista will be shooting. Not on this play. This was a player control offensive type of foul, so they won't shoot on that one. It was the second one on Kyle White.
Thornhill right side, looking for somewhere to go. Johnson comes through a screen, over to Walker inside the paint. Walker's puts a shot up. It's going to bounce off the iron, won't fall. Johnson, second chance, won't go down. Nelson County comes down with the rebound. Kirby kicks in the corner to Gray. Now over to Kirby. I don't think Kirby really knew how open he was. Throws it out to Vest, though, behind the arc. Vest 3 won't go down. Rebound, Eric Poindexter. Poindexter over to Thornhill. Thornhill drives baseline. Thornhill puts a shot up. It's going to trickle down and fall through.
Boy, Juan Thornhill with the levitation. Looked like he just hung in the air for a while. Laid up this soft, floating jump shot.
15-10. Kirby comes in, and he's going to be the victim of a foul. What was that word you used?
Agent Zero?
No, before that.
Levitation?
Are you subscribing to dictionary.com's word of the day now or something?
Oh, I just like to get out and watch basketball from time to time. You never know what kind of good words they'll use on those NBA broadcasts. Kirby at the free throw line. Haven't told you about Apple Markets yet, Bob. They do sponsor the first quarter. 3 great locations, Main Street, Gateway, and Riverside Apple Market. Always one close by. First free throw up and in. 15-11 now. Altavista leads by 4.
Hey, I commend you on increasing the vocabulary. I mean, you've used those big words or those small words like dog and cat for too long. So
sometimes you got to branch out, try and get better.
I'll let you know when I start. Kirby misses the second free throw, 1 out of 2. 15-11 Altavista as we are under a minute, 46 seconds to go precisely.
You can start by watching Groundhog Day tonight.
All right.
After that big Michigan-Indiana game, though.
McClure with the basketball. Now over to Josh Walker. Walker to Thornhill. Thornhill to the free throw line. Thornhill kicks to Poindexter. Now over to McClure. McClure from behind the arc. Hits off the front iron. No good. Rebounded by Nelson. It's in the hands of Patrick. Gets over to Kyle White. White.
Thought he double dribbled. No whistle came out.
Over to Vest. Vest to Patrick. Down to 15. Patrick gives it back to White. Gray for 3. Triple is good. Brandon Gray cuts this to a 1-point game, 15-14.
Juan's got to go. Not much time.
2 seconds. 1 second. Poindexter looking at the clock. Puts it up. Going to get fouled.
Yep. He did get fouled in the act. Shot didn't go in, but a bailout there by Nelson County.
It's on Gray.
Eric's going to get to shoot 2 free throws with nobody on the line with him, Bob.
I'm not sure how many that is on Gray. It might be 2.
I want to say 2. 18 fouls on Nelson. We know that. So Altavista on the good side of the foul situation again, kind of like they were last night. They were in the double bonus at the end of the first quarter last night. Not quite that bad for Nelson, but they do have 18 fouls.
I think that might only be Gray's first, actually, according to my notes. Poindexter sinks 1 of 2, and that'll do it for the first quarter. 16 for Altavista, 14 for Nelson County. We're back in a minute on 105.5 KD Country.
The game is brought to you by these members of the Altavista Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, serving hometown pride with 18 flavors of milkshakes.
Comfort Inn in Altavista, outdoor pool and free hot breakfast with your stay.
Steve's Florist, best quality at the best price for all occasions.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, authentic Mexican food, open 7 days a week.
Aubrey Rosser, attorney at law, Main Street, Altavista.
Piece of Pie Restaurant, Lower Broad Street, Altavista. Give peace a chance.
China Walk Super Buffet, American and Chinese food with the newest item, crab.
Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista, Nelson County here getting ready to start quarter 2. And I'll tell you, we talked about their little hiccup during the introductions tonight with the disc player up here.
Talk about it. I mean, we didn't.
I was going to give some. I was going to give some props that Dean Hubbard and Kenny Hunt didn't panic. Crisis control class. They took it earlier today and averted it. And 2 old pros. 3-pointer by McClure, no good, and that's off the top of the backboard.
Yeah, that'll stop play anytime it rolls over the top of the backboard or touches the wire that supports the goal. It becomes a dead ball then. So Nelson County gets to inbound it, but you're right. Kenny Hunt and Dean Hubbard never miss a beat. And you thought it was loud last night. Boy, it was loud in here when Kenny Hunt got that crowd going. You couldn't even hear it was so loud.
What? Vest gives it back over to Gray. Now to Patrick. Patrick had it poked away by Darius Johnson. Now over to Kelly White. White in front of the free throw line and a foul. It's going to go against Altavista.
Yes, this will be Altavista's third as a team. This one is on Josh Walker, his first. 7:33 to play in the Apple Market second quarter. Altavista leading by 2.
Basketball belongs to Nelson County. Governor's with it. They'll drive inside. Walker gets a piece of that shot. No good. Gray, he'll fire from 3. It's off the mark. No good. Rebound is going to be saved by Walker into the hands of Najah Taylor. Taylor gives it back to Vest. Vest guarded by McClure. Vest looking for somewhere to go. McClure won't let him get by. Now Vest gets it over to Kyle White. Now back to Vest. Gets it over to Gray. Gray guarded by Thornhill. Gray gives it back to Taylor. Taylor guarded by Poindexter. Good defense by Altavista on the perimeter right now.
Yeah, very good man-to-man defense by the Colonels, Bob, making it really tough on Nelson to just even get it close to the basket.
Vest finally does get inside, puts the shot up off the backboard. No good. Rebounded by Darius Johnson. Now over to Thornhill. I'll give Altavista an A defensively on that one easily. Thornhill drives all the way in, puts it up, can't get it to fall. Rebounded by Patrick. Patrick leaves it up ahead to Vest, but Vest, not Michael Johnson, couldn't catch up with that one.
Boy, you're really dating yourself there, making a Michael Johnson reference. We've already talked about the pop culture. You probably should have said Usain Bolt. And
at least I didn't say Jim Thorpe.
The pass did go out of bounds, and Altavista will have possession. Inbounding is Canavis Jones, who we have confirmed from Coach Cliff Lee via Oscar Briggs. He is just a ninth grader, Bob. So if these sophomores weren't good enough, let's just throw a ninth grader in the mix here. Let's get 1 year younger.
Basketball is in the hands of Jones. Jones brings it back up top. Now we're to Thornhill. Now to Navy. Jones looking for somewhere to go. Goes over to Thornhill. Governor's defensively also doing a good job on this possession as well.
Yeah, they're underrated. We haven't really talked about it, but you know Coach Brandon Garrett stresses defense with his guys, and I think they're getting better and better as the year goes on, even though, like you mentioned in the interview, wins and losses might not reflect that. But sometimes they don't tell the whole story.
Demetrius gets inside, and Johnson's going to be fouled. I don't know how Oscar Briggs got his seat tonight, because he's in this section with the smart people.
Absolutely.
I mean, Kim Gafford down there, Sarah Max, Cliff Lee. And Oscar just sticks out like, the thorn in the rose.
Well, Oscar is not as smart as those people, but he is smart enough to recognize how smart they are. So you got to surround yourself with good company. First free throw up and in for Demetrius Johnson. You're always in good company when you go to Apple Markets. Check out the weekly specials all game long at all three Apple Markets.
17-14. Johnson looking to make it 18-14 and does. Demetrius sinks two. Tell you, Demetrius showed the long range last night at the end of the third quarter, sinking that three that put the Colonels up two.
Oh, man, that was huge. The buzzer beater and backcourt violation here. Great defense from Canavis Jones. Back to Demetrius just for a second. He's been getting very good from the free throw line, Bob. I remember early in the year, Altavista was struggling a little bit, but lately, Altavista Colonels have been good from the line, and Demetrius Johnson is a big reason for that. He's been knocking down a bunch of his when he gets the chances.
Jones over to Thornhill, hands back to Hubbard, and Richard will start it with 5:30 to go. Hubbard, left side to Thornhill. Juan comes left side. Juan all the way to the rack. Rebound or layup won't spin down. Rebound comes down to Darius Johnson, and Johnson sticks in two.
And the thing with both Johnson brothers, Bob, is sometimes Altavista, when they miss a shot, that's their best offensive play, because the Johnsons can get the offensive rebound and stick it right back up. Really reminiscent of when Jarrell Jordan was playing here. He used to scoop up so many offensive boards.
Altavista's increased the lead to 6. Turnover. It's going to send it back to the Colonels.
Yeah, and Altavista starting to get the momentum. Wouldn't be shocked to see Brandon Garrett take a timeout here sometime in the next 30 seconds or a minute if things don't turn Nelson County's way before then.
Thornhill gets it in the front court to Hubbard. Richard, a sensation as well. He's only a junior. Now we're at Thornhill. I mean, if you're an Altavista fan, obviously I think you have right to be excited about this season, but the future is looking bright as well.
Definitely.
Hubbard drives all the way to the rack. Hubbard puts up a layup blocked by White. And here comes Nelson County back the other way with Taylor. Taylor, off balance, shot is going to go up, not going to go down. Rebounded by Darius Johnson. Darius waiting for Juan to get in the front court and passes it over to Thornhill. Thornhill doubled for a moment, puts it on the floor. Guarded by Taylor. Thornhill, the Johnsons, Navy Jones, and Richard Hubbard out there. Thornhill puts it up. Iron unkind for Juan tonight. Big time. Darius with the board. Has that sent out of there. Collision, and they're going to call a foul, I think. I'm not sure who it's on.
I think it's on Darius Johnson trying to get after that rebound. Big block by Dre Brown. Foul is on Darius Johnson. He and
Vest.
It was Vest. Yeah, they got tangled up. They were both on the ground diving after the loose ball. And sort of like last night, guy that gets there second a lot of times gets the foul called against him.
Dylan Allen checks in. On the floor for Nelson County right now, you have Kyle White, Tyler Vest, Kelly Kirby, Dre Brown, and Brandon Gray. Governors might have gotten away with one right there. White catches. White has no one around him. He'll put up a jumper from the free throw line and sinks it.
It wasn't flashy, but it went in. A little 16-foot jump shot for White. Now all of a sudden Nelson right back to within 4 points. Give the Governors a lot of credit, Bob. They lose last night. You got a long drive down here. Probably slept in. They should have come out, started slow, but they've come out with a lot of passion, a lot of intensity. They've committed a lot of fouls, though. Maybe that's a byproduct of some of that intensity.
Foul is going to go against Gray, I believe. If so, that'll be his second, and that'll send Jones to the stripe for 2. Well, those guys that are solid night in, night out, like Kenny Hunt, I mean, they sometimes get underappreciated just because,
Yeah.
flawless.
Right. There's no peaks and valleys, for you to really say, boy, he had a good night tonight. They're always good, and I think that's the way Coach Garrett would like his team to be, sort of even keel.
Right.
I know he doesn't have a problem with them hitting 11 threes in a game, but you can't count on that every night. Free throw no good on the second one there by Altavista.
Kirby over to Brown, and you got to wonder, I mean, does that Buena Vista, is there a gene in the water that says defense?
Might be.
Vest with the basketball. Vest gives it to a slasher and Gray, pardon me. Now inside to Kirby. Kirby looking for somewhere to go, turns and fires, and he's going to be fouled. And it's going to be 2 shots for Kelly Kirby. Foul is going to go against Navy Jones. That'll be his first, 5th one on the team. And this will send Kirby to the stripe.
I don't know. There might be a defensive gene up there in Buena Vista, Bob. Charlie Manuel, he likes to have great pitchers on his pitching staff. Although I don't know that the Phillies are necessarily the best fielding team there is ever.
First one in by Kirby, 20-17.
He's got a general manager he has to work with, though, too, so we're not going to blame that all on him. 20-17, Altavista up 3, Bob. Very, very good ball game.
Pie left on the scoreboard right now in terms of time. 3:14. You didn't know about that, did you?
You got me on that one. I know levitation, but I don't know pie.
3.14. Demetrius behind the back over to Thornhill. Johnson was crowded by 2. Now to Jones. Jones looking for somewhere to go. Finds Dylan Allen. And, I'm amazed at the chemistry that some of these guys that are having in terms of they haven't been there that long. Foul on Altavista.
Right, Dylan Allen's second game, Canavas Jones' third game. You get a foul away from the ball. A little illegal screen on Darius Johnson. His second foul, 6th on the team for Altavista.
Vest with the basketball, 2:49 to go. But, I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, the chemistry of just in terms of, coming up top, popping out, knowing where people are. I mean, rarely do you see Altavista get into a situation to where they're screaming for people to come to the ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, as we're talking, Darius picks up another foul, his third, just a second in a matter of moments there. That was away from the ball as well. Darius is physical, and we've always said sometimes people foul him, sometimes he fouls them. In this case, he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar twice in a row.
And as you would like to say, Agent Zero.
Yes.
Kelly Kirby at the free throw line, 1-1. First one goes down.
Of course, that nickname is the nickname of Mr. Gilbert Arenas, who was a fantastic basketball player back in the day. I think he plays in like Israel or Europe or Uruguay. Or
had some good years with the Wizards, and
great years.
Before that, played for Lute Olson.
That's exactly right.
Down there in Arizona. Kirby hits 2.
Guy.
That's why I brought it up. 20-19. Altavista underneath, and it's on the cylinder.
Goaltending, yes. Demetrius trying to go for that rebound. Josh Walker put up the shot. It looked like it was going to come off, but Demetrius just put his hand on the basketball a little too soon. Goaltending is the call. Wipe the basket off.
McGarry in the game. Johnson with it, and offensive foul on Demetrius.
Yeah, and you could see that one. Demetrius, I think, probably trying to make up for the goaltend. He got a great steal, but then as he got the steal, his defender was right up on him, and he extended the elbow a little bit to give himself some room. Big no-no there.
McClure will come in. He'll spell Allen. McClure, Poindexter, Walker, Demetrius Johnson, Juan Thornhill on the floor. For Nelson, they've got Dre Brown, Nicholas McGarry, Kelly Kirby, Tyler Vest and Brandon Gray.
We might have more listeners in Buena Vista than we do in Altavista tonight for this one, Bob.
Gray with the basketball. Gray gets it off to McGarry. McGarry had it stripped away. Poindexter picks it up. Vest on his backside. Poindexter puts it up and in. Counts a bucket for Eric Poindexter as he winds up at the feet of the official. But he'll wind up at the free throw line to have an extra shot and try to put Altavista up 4.
Big play right there for the senior. Got going fast, was able to finish the layup, and then the crash landing afterwards. Foul is on Mr. Kelly Kirby, his second. We need to sell some sponsorships to people in Buena Vista next year when these two teams meet up, Bob. Come on. You've got to take that Business 101 class again.
I'm waiting for it to be taught by you, Mr. Haney. 2:11 to go.
Keep waiting. You can't afford to get into Harvard. 22-19. Second quarter brought to you by Apple Markets.
I argue I went to Harvard. On the hill.
There we go. We're having fun in this one tonight. The referees are discussing something. Eric has not shot the free throw yet.
Gotta let your hair down on a Saturday night.
That's right.
Or some of us put it up on a Saturday night. Mr. Briggs down there with the stylish do. And there'll be a little delay here for just a moment while the official gets something straight at the table.
Yeah. Oscar is a Groundhog Day fan. He's also a fan of the win that North Carolina got over Virginia Tech. So he's in a good mood. Shot up from Eric Poindexter. No good. Guess who got the rebound? Juan Thornhill.
Poindexter kind of frozen there at the line for a moment with the delay. Now the basketball belongs to McClure. McClure inside the arc. Throws it back out to Walker. Now to Thornhill left side. And a foul underneath. It's going to be against Demetrius Johnson. Offensive second foul on Demetrius in just a mere matter of moments. So we talked about how well Demetrius and Darius did last night, staying out of the foul sheet until quarter 4, and I think they only had finished with like 1 or 2 apiece. Now Demetrius has 2, Darius has 3. We still have 1:50 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and Josh Walker, another big guy for Altavista, has 2, so something that Coach Cardellaro might have to be a little careful with in the second half.
Johnson and White underneath. Vest took it up, and they're going to call Vest for a travel.
Yeah, Vest couldn't get the shot up before he came down on his own 2 feet again. Altavista trying to go quick, trying to catch Nelson off guard.
Very quick. Down to Walker on the low block. Gives it off to Demetrius Johnson. Johnson drives all the way in. Can't get the shot to fall. Johnson's second try won't go down, but he's going to the stripe. The foul, I think, is going to be against Dre Brown.
I believe you're correct. You are. It's his third, so Nelson County's got some foul troubles of their own. They're over 10 fouls. Demetrius is in the act of shooting. He'll shoot 2. Altavista really hadn't scored in a while, Bob. 22-19. Well, they scored on that Eric Poindexter layup, but it seems like it's been a while now. Free throw no good from Demetrius Johnson.
6 points in this quarter. Only 5 for Nelson, though.
Low scoring affair. Cold outside.
Certainly.
Is it cold in the gym?
Not when I was down there.
Second one on the way from Demetrius Johnson.
Johnson misses both. Rebounded by Josh Walker. Walker sticks it up, and that'll trickle down. Josh Walker with the board and the 2 gives Altavista a 5-point lead. And this one's going back to Altavista. Turnover by the Governors. Seems like the Governors haven't scored in a while. They haven't scored since Altavista's had 4 to push that lead to 5.
Yeah, it's a good point. Nelson County really having some struggles on the offensive end in this second quarter.
Gary checks in.
Colonels could extend the lead out now, Bob. Minute 22. Maybe they hold for 1. We've seen them hold it for this long before. I think they're just going to take the first open look they get to, then hold for 1 on the next possession.
I think a few years back we saw them hold for about 3.5 at Nelson. Poindexter over to Thornhill. Different cast of characters that night, though. Thornhill drives all the way in, puts up a soft shot, no good. Rebound comes down to Juan, and they're going to call a foul.
Over the back.
It's 3.
He is not happy with himself. He's going to have to come out. Dylan Allen will check in. So now both Johnsons with 3. Josh Walker has 2.
58.2 left.
That's your 3 primary big men for Altavista. Not that other guys can't mix in there and play down low, but those are your 3 tallest players on the team.
Juan missed that shot, by the way, without hitting anything, and then caught the own rebound.
Yeah, he probably could have called it a traveling violation. You're right.
I think if Mike Cardellaro knew what was going to happen, With the foul, he would have wanted the traveling violation.
Right. Patrick on the line now for Nelson County.
Hope you're staying awake with us on a cold Saturday here in the Commonwealth. 24-20 as Patrick hits the first.
Under a minute to play in this Apple Market second quarter, Bob. Subway halftime show to follow this. It should be a good one. Plenty of topics. Even if we just talk about Subway.
Patrick misses. Rebound came down to Poindexter. Eric couldn't handle, and it trickles into the hands of Juan. Thornhill bounce pass out to McClure. McClure drives all the way in, kicks it back out to Allen, now over to Poindexter. 45 seconds left before intermission.
Now the Colonels may hold for the last shot, Bob.
You know how many times I've said that and gotten burned? Poindexter with it. Now we're at Thornhill. And with
the only one.
I was going to say, with Nelson now backing off defensively, I think you got a good shot of being right.
Yeah, and Coach Cardellaro giving the old back-off signal. Down to 22 seconds, I think. Once it gets down to about 10 seconds, you'll see Juan Thornhill initiate some offense here.
Juan gets going a little bit earlier. Now pulls it back. Down to 10.
He's looking for an opening.
Down to 7. Juan normally can make his own opening a little bit. McClure will fire from deep. Got some contact, it looked like. Vest will put it up from beyond half. Had the distance, but not the accuracy. So we have played one half here from Altavista High School. Colonels lead 24-20. Subway halftime show coming up after this timeout on 105.5 KD Country.
Try a variety of daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced, with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business.
For more than 103 years, we've offered special banking assistance to many nonprofit organizations. I'm Kathy Morgan with First National Bank, and we have a checking account just for nonprofits and faith-based organizations that has no minimum balance requirement and no monthly maintenance fee. We also specialize in offering financing when your group needs a loan. So come see us at First National Bank, and we'll provide your organization with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Back here at the Subway halftime show, the speaking representative of the girls basketball staff joining us, Miss Sarah Maddox. And Coach, congratulations on a fine season with the varsity. And you know, I always like to say you should get a lot more credit than the layman would see, because you're getting the girls ready for Coach Spencer with the JV squad. How'd the junior varsity do in your eyes?
The JV has done really well this season. Ended up right now 15-4. We play our last game on Wednesday. I guess overall finished second in the district. We did lose twice to Chatham, but overall we've had a really great season and has a lot of young girls on the team.
Yeah, not about the wins and losses, like I said, although I know you like to win. It's more about getting those players ready, and obviously you've had some of the girls that have played on the varsity now in your tenure. Talk about, as we get to the varsity tournament, which is coming up here, what the strengths of the team is, in your opinion.
Some of the strengths right now, we have multiple scores. It's nice to have consistency. You know, it's not too much stress or too much of a load on one player every night. It's a pretty balanced scoring each night. And, you know, one thing that really impresses me, too, is the versatility. I mean, you look at Sydney Morris, who's one of the taller players in the area, playing down low, but, I mean, really she can handle it like a guard out there on the wing. Absolutely, she does, and oftentimes, running clear outs and things like that for her has worked, and sending her to the basket's nice. She does do well one-on-one to the basket, and can finish, and then finish on the line, too.
A lot of people know people like TT Dews, who hit over 1,000 points for her career this season when we were at Rustburg, Sydney, but who is somebody, and we could probably mention 3 or 4 names, that flies under the radar that the normal person wouldn't see, but the coaches definitely notice?
I think that person would be Kayla Lee. Kayla Lee, she scores consistently. She can hit the open three, and she is a defensive specialist. She locks down oftentimes the best player when we go into a diamond or a triangle or something like that, and she does a really nice job defensively and offensively.
District tournament coming up. You guys have the #1 seed and ran the table in the Dogwood. How important is it not to look past that district tournament and obviously the regional tournament, which you guys will be in, but how important is it to not look past that district tournament?
No, every night, it's tough bringing your A game every night when somebody else is out to get you every night. So the girls stay focused. Consistency is the key right now, and not to look too far ahead, and still make sure we have other things besides regional state. You got to look, don't look too far ahead.
Right. My dad always said if you eat an elephant, you got to eat it one bite at a time. You can't put it all down at once. In terms of, you mentioned state, and obviously you girls had a great run last year to the state semis. In your opinion, how beneficial was that process getting all the way to Richmond?
It was really nice to see for the girls. We have a fairly young team. We had 4 seniors had senior night last night, but for the most part, it's a lot of underclassmen too, and they had the advantage of going to Richmond last year, had the opportunity of seeing what it felt like to play in the States, playing at the Siegel Center twice, so it was a nice experience for them. Maybe, hopefully, if we make it back there this year, pressure won't be too intense like last year.
Coach, always love having you on the radio. Unfortunately, Kyle's got to come back at some point, so we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you shortly for those girls basketball. You guys get a bye into the semis, so best of luck until then. Sarah Maddox here on the pregame show. Kyle rejoins me on the halftime show after this on 105.5 KD Country.
The following is brought to you by English Construction Company.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Virginia High School League and the Virginia Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Rob and Kyle back here at the Subway Halftime Show. Big thank you to Sarah Maddox from the Altavista Colonels ladies team to join us here, one of the assistant coaches. And I'll tell you, brilliant minds on the guys bench for the Colonels, but don't sell that girls team the bench short either in terms of what they got between the years.
That's right. Coach Spencer, the head coach for the girls, has over 300 wins in her career for a reason. She's got some great assistants helping her out, Ed Frazier, and then, of course, the lovely and talented Miss Short and Miss Maddox.
Right.
I think Brent Musburger's probably going to sue me now because I said lovely and talented. But anyway, no, they've got a great coaching staff, and they got a great team. One of their stars, Erica Wilson, is in the audience here checking out the guys' game. They know good basketball. And great minds think alike.
And, we talk about people that fly under the radar. I mean, we talked about, I think a lot of people know TT and Sydney, but I think Erica Wilson, Sarah talked about Kayla Lee.
Yeah.
I'm a big Ryan Hedgepath fan because I think she does a lot of the little stuff that doesn't get noticed. Then you've got Kalia Donegan. I mean, across the board. I mean, a ton of people on that Altavista girls team. It's kind of like the guys team.
Yeah.
You sub somebody in, you're not getting hurt.
That's right. I was just going to say the same thing. They've got a deep bench like the guys do. You never know quite who's going to beat you on any given night, who's going to have the big night, so you can't stop everybody. And if somebody gets in foul trouble or maybe the legs aren't as fresh as any other night, you can go to the bench. They don't miss a beat, much like the Altavista guys. It's been fun to watch them, and excited to get them back on the radio for tournament time. Mr. Bob Alvis. And
Subway doesn't miss a beat either.
No, Subway never misses a beat. It's February, so it's any $5 foot long. Pretty much everything on the menu is $5, and then you can also get in the foot-long frenzy where you can win free footlongs for life. There's winners every minute, Bob.
You're only a loser if you don't go to Subway.
That's the Bob Alvis saying. You need to trademark that and sell that to the head Subway people. I'm sure Mr. Robert Duff uses that slogan already, but you need to make yourself some money off that idea.
Altavista in the first half, scoring goes like this for the Colonels. Darius Johnson leading all scorers with 10. Juan Thornhill had 5, 4 from Demetrius Johnson, 3 from Eric Poindexter, and 2 from Josh Walker. For Nelson County, Brandon Gray led him with 6. Kelly Kirby with 4. Tyler Vest with 3, as well as Keenan Patrick, and 2 points apiece from Kyle White and Dre Brown. Second half, what do you look for?
Well, I look to see if Nelson County can keep up that intensity. They come off a loss last night. They were playing very hard in the first half, but sometimes the second half is where the will just isn't enough. Your legs finally start letting you down, and maybe you could say that for Altavista. I mean, the Colonels had to get up and down that court a bunch last night against Dan River, Bob. I think that'll be the key. Let's watch and see how both teams' stamina is, how their fitness level is in this second half here. Maybe the team that's more in shape has the edge.
Sarah Maddox talked about it was senior night last night for the ladies. It's senior night tonight for the guys. And the guys will not be in action again until next Friday at a site to be determined, most likely Gretna High School. But Colonels, when you don't play for about a week, you really want, I think, to not sit on, I've talked about this with you and Coach Carlero and everything. If you lose to Dan River on Friday, at least you can come back and get the sour taste out on the Saturday. If something happens on a Saturday you don't like, you got all the way until next Friday to wait, and it's a playoff game possibly for the number 1 seed in the district and the regular season champ.
Right, and I know Coach Carlero likes to be in the gym. He likes to have the practice time. And it'll be nice to have an extended time like that to where you can work on some things. You can put something new in that Dan River hasn't seen.
A wrinkle, if you will.
Yeah, a wrinkle. That's exactly right. And when you have that amount of time, that's almost like having a bye week in football when you have, 6 or 7 days in basketball, because normally you don't have that much time.
Governors to our right here in the third quarter. They are dressed in gold tonight, green and white striping on the side of the shorts. And the jersey, Nelson written on the front in green, outlined in white. And I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of the lime green socks that Kelly Kirby is sporting. I need a pair.
Well, Agent Zero's got to look fly, and Kirby does tonight. Jump shot on the way from Demetrius.
Johnson's 2, won't bounce down. Rebound is still loose. Picked up by Vest. Thornhill tries to tug it away. Now I've got shoelaces that look like that, which get me a lot of oohs and ahs, but not the socks. I like it. Vest.
I know what your
with the basketball. What do you mean purchase? You're going to give it to me as a gift. Kirby goes up, and I think he's going to be fouled. The question is, was he up in the air?
It is a good question. It looks like they're going to say he was not. On the floor foul, no shooting violation. First foul of the half for anybody. It's first on Altavista as a team. Colonels lead by 4. About 30 seconds into the third quarter. And now Mr. Hodnett, one of our very favorite officials, is checking with the official scorer and the timekeeper to get some things straight.
McClure's first. Ryan Mitchell sporting the stripes behind the scores table as he is the book of record. Vest with the basketball. Gets it in to Brandon Gray. Gray guarded by Thornhill. Gray crosses over to the free throw line, pitches back out to Kelly Kirby. Kirby goes down low to Barnett. Barnett can't handle it, picked up by McClure. McClure gives it to Thornhill. Nelson again being very aggressive in the backcourt. Thornhill drives all the way in. Thornhill up in the air. Thornhill sticks it up off the window and in.
And did you see the clear out from Demetrius Johnson? He basically just boxed his guy out. That allowed Juan Thornhill to work right around off his hip and had a clear lane to the basket.
Darius Johnson playing with 3, Demetrius Johnson with 2. They're both on the floor, joined by Dylan Allen, Jacob McClure, and Juan Thornhill. Thornhill lost his man for a moment, but I think it was good screening by Nelson County, and Brandon Gray got loose and hits in a 2 off the window, 26-22 Altavista. How much of it do you think is fatigue from last night for the Colonels?
Well, I think there's got to be a little bit of that. I mean, but, you know, again, Nelson County played 2, so you got to feel like you're not that far behind as far as a fitness level goes. Long 2 from Dylan Allen.
His feet were on the line, but Allen will still take the bucket, 28-22. Yeah, and, you know, I mean, the question is for Altavista and for Nelson County, where's the fatigue more, in the legs or in the head?
Right, that's a great point. Can you focus back-to-back both nights? That's a very excellent point.
Kirby drives all the way down. Darius Johnson got a piece of it. Second try by Barnett. Won't go down. Rebounded by Demetrius. And, I mean, you know, they're both coming off losses, so, you know, one's really no better than the other. I mean, you can argue Altavista's game might have had a little bit more meaning, but, I mean, to Nelson County it didn't. Vest comes away with the steal. Three-pointer by Gray. No good. Rebound comes down to Nelson County. Brown sticks it back up and in.
Good rebounding by Nelson. Altavista really didn't do a good job boxing out on that play, and that's rare for the Colonels because that's something they've been good at all year.
Governor's hanging around, 28-24. Under 5.5 to go.
Seems like it's been a 4-point lead for Altavista all night, Bob.
McClure over to Thornhill. And a foul. Away from the basketball. It's against Nelson County, and I think it went against 44, Tony Barnett.
Josh Walker going to check in the game for Darius Johnson. It is on Barnett, his second. 5:17 remaining in the Apple Market third quarter. Altavista up 28-24.
Kenny Hunt keeping everybody apprised here at Altavista High School of the ins and outs of the substitutions.
Referees discussing again. A lot of that tonight, Bob.
Right.
They want to make sure they're on the same page. That's a good thing. But I'm not sure what the discussion was.
Whose house for the Super Bowl? McClure saves it. Thornhill goes up top for it. And Juan, using the DB skills, just takes it away. McClure, 3 from the corner. It goes down.
You knew Jake the Snake was going to hit one eventually. He missed a few in the first half. He does not miss that one from the corner pocket. Good shot by McClure.
A devastating, dynamic triple. Vest for 3. No good. Rebound tapped out. Did you appreciate that DDT?
I love the DDT reference, especially when you're talking about Jake the Snake.
It's going to stay to Nelson County.
You call it triple so much, sometimes I think we're in baseball season already.
Got to mix up. You can't say three-pointer every time.
Right.
Brown catches it. Kind of had a head start, I thought, on it. And a foul is going to go against Altavista. I think that went against Dylan Allen, but we'll see what the board throws up. It is. It's his first and team second.
4:46 remaining here in the Apple Market third quarter. Bob, Apple Market's a proud sponsor of Altavista Athletics.
Brown sinks the first, 31-25. And if Nelson's going to go to the line and in a close game, Governors need to hit those freebies.
Can't stress that enough. We talk about it all the time. The free throws are important, especially when you're down like the Nelson County Governors are now. It's the best way to get back in a game.
4:48 to go. Brown sinks a pair, 31-26. Dylan Allen with the basketball. Allen on the wing, finds Walker. Free throw line jumper. Back iron, no good. Demetrius Johnson skies upstairs for it. Gets the rebound and sticks it in for 2.
Again, another example of a missed shot being Altavista's best offensive weapon. Demetrius skies up there, pulls down the board, sticks it right back up.
Three-pointer hoisted by the Governors, no good. Rebounded by McClure. Now over to Poindexter. Poindexter, one-handed bounce pass to Demetrius, a little hot. Demetrius lost the handle on it, picked up by Nelson County. Vest with the basketball. Gotta love the hair from Tyler Vest. A little old school Lennox Lewis there with the dreads. Vest puts it up. Light whistle. And it's going to be a free throw opportunity for Nelson County. Vest will shoot 2. That is team foul number 3 on the Colonels. McClure second, both coming in this quarter. 24-20 was the score at the half. Now we're at 33-26. And Tyler Vest with the opportunity to cut it to 5 if he can sink them both. but that's not going to happen.
Missed the first one. Bob, Nelson County started out the game with a three-pointer. They led briefly there in the first quarter. Altavista has led ever since that initial first 2 or 3 minutes, but Nelson County has been close pretty much all night. Like I said, seems like it's been a 4-point lead all night. Both free throws no good.
Hasn't gotten higher than this margin right now, which is 7.
And I think Nelson has to be careful that it doesn't get higher.
McClure for 3. No good. Ball still bouncing around, tapped around, picked up by Josh Walker. Walker turns. Foul's going to go on the floor. And, you know, I'm not sure that Mike Carlero, I mean, obviously he's not a fan when the Colonels get whistled for the infraction, but some of these, it's just momentum. I mean, you can't get momentum if fouls are being called consistently.
Well, we saw a lot of fouls called last night, that's for sure. Not as many tonight, but the third quarter is still young, and you definitely have a point. It seems like it's hard for both teams to get momentum going.
Brown's got 4.
Wow.
He'll have to come out. McClure lost it, and they're going to call him with double dribble.
Wow, a little uncharacteristic turnover. Colonels, I think you hit the nail on the head, Bob. Just can't get any momentum. Not a lot of flow to the game. Nobody's in a rhythm. And you know the Colonels are very rhythm-oriented. They like to get comfortable. They like to go on runs. And, you know, they haven't been able to do that tonight. Give credit to Nelson County for some of that.
Colonels have gone back-to-back several times this year. This is the 4th occurrence now. Kirby with the basketball. Kirby drives in.
He's fouled. Shot didn't go in. Guess they're going to say this is on the floor. Boy. No, he was shooting. Okay. Looked like they were going to inbound the basketball. Kirby, agent 0, will go to the free throw line. First one on Richard Hubbard.
Down to 3 minutes and 29 seconds to go in this third quarter. Brought to you by our good friends at the Apple Market. 3 convenient locations for your convenience.
And there was another one of those lulls there where it seemed like nobody had scored in a while, Bob. Kirby finally sinks a free throw.
33-27. Last time the Colonels went back-to-back, they won by 22 at William Campbell just a few short weeks ago. You and Oscar were there, 33-28.
Fun game up there at William Campbell.
Night before, of course, the Colonels had a big win against Chatham here. Walker drives baseline. He's going to be fouled. And don't think the shot is going to go. It did, but I don't think it's going to count. Foul's on Kyle White.
Foul was on the floor. Of course, we saw an odd one last night where we thought it was either on the floor or basket should have counted. Brandon Garrett wanted a timeout. He couldn't get it. His team kind of stopped playing, and they get the quick inbounds to Juan Thornhill for 2 points.
Thornhill sinks too, and I think it's the case where I don't want it now. 35-28.
Yeah, he was signaling for the timeout. Refs didn't see him. A little bit of bad luck there.
Kirby guarded by Hubbard. Kirby looking for somewhere to go. They'll call it travel. Colonels started their back-to-backs with the Christmas tournament, Nottoway and Amelia. Then they had Appomattox on a Friday night here, and then turned around and played Rustburg the next night, won that one by 13. And then, like we mentioned, the one last week, Thornhill misses the shot, but he's going to be fouled, and he will go to the stripe.
He was in the act of shooting, yes. And that, Bob, 2 or 3 times tonight, Nelson County has done that, where it seemed like they kind of quit playing. Maybe they didn't know the ball was going to be inbounded. Maybe they heard their coach barking for a timeout, but you can't assume the referees are going to give it to you. Foul was against Kirby, his second.
It's the old saying, play the whistle. That's more of a football saying, but
well, it applies.
I think it applies, yes.
Free
Thornhill.
No good.
Misses the first. Dylan Allen will check in for Eric Poindexter, and you really see some frustration on Altavista's faces out there, too. Like, we can't get into a rhythm, we can't get into a flow. And you know me, I'm a big flow guy. I might not be the biggest music fan like you are, but rhythm is important.
Absolutely. And the players for the Colonels wanted to have a great bounce-back game after the loss against Dan River. Not that they're playing bad, maybe not quite up to their expectations.
White guarded by Walker. Gives it off to Kirby. Kirby guarded by Hubbard. Kirby keeping the ball above his head. Puts it on the floor. Another foul.
I think they're going to get Juan Thornhill for reaching in a little bit as Kirby drove by. No, it's on Richard Hubbard.
His second. 2:36 to go.
Hubbard was guarding Kirby, but Thornhill came off his guy to sort of help out. Probably fortunate it wasn't on Juan.
Kirby shoots a 2, misses. Walker with the rebound. Walker guarded by Barnett, and I think they're going to say Walker stepped on the line.
Yeah, and again, Colonel's frustrated, just can't seem to get into a rhythm. They did everything right on that possession. They played good defense. They boxed out. They got the rebound, and Walker just accidentally steps on the baseline there out of bounds.
Barnett gives it back to Vest. They're going to call Vest for a travel.
And it is a lot of whistles now. Not that they're not correct. I mean, Vest did travel, but it just, again, gets tough to get into a rhythm.
Tell you what, if you're going to go to dinner at Subway, you might want to call it in at this point if you're going to get a sub after the game, because this one's running a little long. Thornhill sinks it 2. 38-28, and Nelson County will call a timeout. It'll be a full 1-minute break here on KD Country. 2:15 to go. Colonels by 10.
Don't you think it's time that your business account made you money? I'm Marion Marshall with First National Bank, and we've introduced a small business interest checking account that earns your business interest. That's right, interest. So for a progressive small business checking account, come to First National Bank today. We'll show how your business account will earn interest, and we'll provide you with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
38-28 Altavista, 2:15 to go here in the third quarter, sponsored by our good friends at the Apple Market. Check their weekly specials out. Nick will tell you about those throughout the game. Super Bowl is tomorrow, Kyle, but it's a Buena Vista Bowl. I'll have to figure out later on what number this is. I'll bet you it's at least 11. White with it. He's going to be fouled by Walker.
I think you're probably right. It probably is upwards of 11. And they've all been exciting in their own kind of way. This one very exciting, although Altavista's out to a 10-point lead now. Biggest lead of the night. Tough luck foul on Walker. He thought he played good defense, but he might have reached in a little bit.
It's only his second. We thought he had two, but
you're right.
Officially his second. Barnett catches underneath and gets in two.
A lob pass going over top of the defense with the arcing pass there by Vest. Good job.
Nelson's kind of let this slip away a little bit. It's down to 8. Walker misses a 3. Johnson is going to be fouled.
On the floor, couldn't get the shot off. He got the rebound from the missed shot by Walker.
So Barnett, his third, on the floor. Timeout, Nelson County. We'll stop play as well with 1:45 to go. Altavista leads by 8. Full 1-minute timeout on KD Country.
Try a variety of daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced, with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Bob and Kyle back here. Buena Vista Bowl tonight, Har Bowl tomorrow with the two Harbaugh brothers. And I'll tell you who the Gafford family, I believe, is going to be pulling for there. Mrs. Gafford there is a left coaster, and she's a big 49ers fan. And I feel if Ty wants to keep the peace in the family, he will probably be pulling for the Niners as well. Foul while I'm bloviating about football. Thornhill will go to the line. Third foul on Kirby. 6-1 on the Governors.
Yeah, both teams have 6 team fouls, so next one committed by each side will put the other side in bonus. Free throw up and in from Juan Thornhill. That stretches out. 39-30 is your Altavista Colonel lead now. And, yeah, the Buena Vista Bowl is fun. The Super Bowl will be fun. Groundhog Day, and the game will be up on YouTube soon, so you can have your own Groundhog Day movie where you just listen to the game over and over and over again. Wake up to it every morning.
39-30, Navy Jones checks in.
But you wouldn't know about that because you've never seen the movie.
And I don't know how to set an alarm to wake up to the same thing every day either. 39-30, Thornhill goes 1 of 2. Basketball belongs to Nelson County. Governors will chuck a 3 from the corner. No good. Rebound tapped down and picked up by Thornhill. Nice. Thornhill in trouble. Had it bounce off a heel. I'm not sure if it was one of his own. And a whistle. I think Altavista was trying to call a timeout. Brandon Garrett is going to be unhappy, to say the least, if he gets that.
Coach Cardellaro saw that Juan was losing the ball, called a timeout to save possession. I think another official called for the jump ball at the same time. They talked it out. What do we have? There's no timeout right now. Nobody's going to the bench. It looks like they're going to give Altavista the ball to inbound it, though.
And, you know, I mean, some of the things, too, and I'm not trying to pick on the officials here, but with this Saturday cruise, you've got a lot of times 3 guys that are not used to working together a lot.
Right.
Because there are a lot of guys that double and do some college games.
And they've done a good job talking it out and getting it straight. If it was the NFL, we'd be able to get the explanations from the microphone, but we're up here in the press box, so we don't really know what exactly they said.
Right. We got a little bit of a better shot hearing it on the floor, but last night, like we said, we could barely hear each other on the floor at that one. Navy Jones with, and we had on headsets. Pulls it out up top between the circles. Loud building last night in Ringgold. Thornhill will pull it out under a minute. Altavista playing for a chance to get into that district playoff game tonight with a win as long as Dan River holds serve this week against Gretna. And that's no gimme.
Exactly. Gretna's no pushover. They're 3rd in the district for a reason. They could give Dan River a hard time, and Wildcats better hope they're not looking past Gretna, looking towards the district playoff game. Down to 27 seconds in the 3rd quarter. Thornhill taking his time, dribbling the basketball.
5-second count being administered. Now it's broken. Hawks are going to have to go back-to-back, though. I think they have Chatham in there as well. I think the Chatham game comes first, if I'm not mistaken. Thornhill jumper in front of the free throw line goes down. 41-30. I could be mistaken, though, so let's not hold me to that. Nelson County's not going to get a good shot off here if they don't get a good look at the basket. Vest drives in, and a foul.
He is fouled before he could get a shot up. 1.5 seconds left in the quarter.
It's a 7th foul against Altavista.
Right.
So Canavis Jones.
So Vest will shoot a 1-and-1. Got to be careful here for Altavista. Got to box out on the rebound. Don't want to give Nelson a chance for an offensive board and then a stick back with just 1 point.
Or pick up a foul.
Seconds. That too. It's a good point.
Vest. 1-and-1. Nut. Didn't hit anything. Break for Altavista.
Yeah. Big break for Altavista because now with 1.5 seconds, even though they got to go the length of the court, they can still get a halfway decent shot off.
You got the quarterback inbounding.
That's right, and this is good. This is something Altavista needs to practice. It might come up later on in the playoffs.
Good pass by Thornhill. Johnson catches, free throw line, jumpers up. Did the best he could on that one and got a halfway decent look at it. We go to quarter 4. Altavista up 10, 41-31 on Katy Country.
The game is brought to you by these members of the Altavista Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, serving hometown pride with 18 flavors of milkshakes.
Comfort Inn in Altavista, outdoor pool, and free hot breakfast with your stay.
Steve's Florist, best quality at the best price for all occasions.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, authentic Mexican food, open 7 days a week.
Aubrey Rosser, attorney at law, Main Street, Altavista.
Piece of Pie Restaurant, Lower Broad Street, Altavista. Give peace a chance.
China Walk Super Buffet, American and Chinese food with the newest item, crab.
Perkins Twin Tire and Auto Service, your Michelin tire store.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Bob Alvis, Kyle Haney, Kenny Hunt here at Altavista High School. And the Colonels, no matter what verbiage you use, they're up by 10 as we head to quarter number 4.
Yeah, and they're actually up 11, Bob, 41-30. Altavista had a good look there with a buzzer beater, trying the old Christian Laettner play against Kentucky back in the day. They throw it all the way down to the other free throw line. Demetrius catches it. Got a good shot off, but couldn't get it to go in. Well designed, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if they did steal it from somebody. The good ones borrow, the great ones steal. That's what I said.
Johnson with the basketball. Now over to Allen. Patrick comes away with the steal, leaves it up ahead for White. White takes a shot up, no good, rebounded by Hubbard, and Richard had Patrick fall into his back for a moment. It's good enough to send Richard Hubbard to the stripe, as that is foul number 7 on the Governors, and Richard Hubbard will make his first appearance tonight from the free throw line. Second on Patrick, and Poindexter checks back in for Navy Jones.
Altavista a little congested, not much spacing on their side of offense. That led to their turnover. Nelson County didn't really get a great look at the layup, and then Hubbard got the rebound and got fouled. Let's see what Richard can do with a 1-on-1 situation.
Hubbard looking for 2. He's got to hit the first one to get a second one, and he does. 42-30. You talk about the great ones steal and borrowing. I've always learned the win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. And that comes from the world of professional wrestling, as I got a chance to talk to Coach Pelter earlier on, as we love to match wits with each other in trivia. 43-30.
Sounds like a Bobby the Brain Heenan kind of thing he would say. Of course, he was a Midwestern guy, got his start in Minnesota, like all the great ones did.
In Minnesota or in the Midwest?
Yes.
Patrick with the basketball. Patrick drives in over to Demetrius Johnson.
Big block from Demetrius Johnson.
Hubbard to Thornhill. I think you're trying to suck up to our listeners in the Midwest who can hear it on KDCountry.com. Thank you to the good folks at Walmart for that. Tyler Vest comes away with a steal, and they're going to call Vest for a double dribble, and Vest will get a technical to boot.
Vest did not like the call. He expressed his displeasure by slamming the ball down a little too hard. That's a no-no in high school. Well, in really all levels. You can get away with it a little bit in the league, but not here tonight. Altavista will get a chance to shoot 2 free throws, and they'll get the basketball back. 3rd personal foul on Tyler Vest. 8th one on Nelson as a team.
Richard Hubbard dismissed from the huddle to go take the 2 shots at the charity stripe with 7:08 to go.
Fourth quarter is brought to you by Apple Markets, Bob. 3 great locations: Gateway, Main Street, Riverside. Specials at all 3 locations daily. Check them out. First free throw, no good from Hubbard.
43-30. And Hubbard cannot sink either. Iron unkind.
Yeah, not what Richard wanted, not what the fans wanted. And there is a good crowd here tonight for a Saturday game, Bob. And it's cold outside, so few folks braving the elements to get out here to the gym for this.
What's senior night?
And in-house. It is.
I mean, you know, senior night will draw a few people just on the label.
That's exactly right. Senior night, which, you know, I sometimes in years past have had a tough time getting into senior night because they're always going to play in the tournament.
Right.
It's not like it's your last game or anything, but I digress.
Thornhill digresses into the lane, takes a shot up, won't get it to fall. Foul's going to go against Dre Brown, and I think that's it. If it's on Dre.
I think you're right.
It is.
Before that.
Ryan Mitchell holds up 5 fingers to the official.
So a good game for Dre Brown. Fouls out with 6:51 remaining in the fourth. He played hard.
I'll tell you, Ryan Mitchell takes that striped shirt seriously.
Absolutely.
Down there. I mean, always, you know, holding up the fingers for the officials of who's got how many fouls. And I know Mike Cardellaro relies heavily on Soup as well, so we like to give credit to all those who are deserving.
No
Thornhill
doubt about it.
misses the first one.
Yeah, maybe that's the fatigue and the not having the legs under you. Juan's going to laugh it off and wipe the hands off, as to say there was some moisture on my hands. That's why it didn't get there. Second one is short, though, too.
Gets the rebound. Got knocked in the air, I thought, by Barnett, too, to where he could have made a return trip, maybe. Thornhill sticks it down low to Allen. Allen puts it up. Won't fall down. Vest catches. Vest comes down. Vest went up for some thunder. Thornhill had some lightning to block it. And it's tapped out of bounds off Nelson County. It's going back to Altavista.
Boy, both teams kind of letting it all hang out now. Vest trying to slam it in traffic. Juan denied him of that, and then the ball got knocked around by a couple people. Out of bounds back to the Colonel.
Championship rounds, baby. You can't take it on the card. You're trying to get the victory on the while you're standing.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
43.
I don't know what that was either.
43-30. Altavista leads by 13. Biggest lead of the night. And Nelson could really be in trouble if Altavista stretches the lead out.
Thornhill, left of the paint, shovels it to Demetrius. Johnson comes in. He's going to be fouled. I think that's on Barnett. And I think that's 4 on the big man.
Yeah, you're right. 44 has 4. Demetrius Johnson heads to the free throw line. I think if Nelson could get on a little run, even if it was only 4 or 5, 6 point run, they could still be in it. But if Altavista returns the favor, goes on a run of their own, then this ball game would be virtually over. 6:17 to play. Demetrius sinks the first.
Ended a 4 free throw drought there for the Colonels. They had missed their last 4. Still have missed 5 out of 6 as Demetrius misses the second one. Kirby with the basketball. Kirby drives all the way in. Kirby spin move to the rack. No good. It'll hit off the glass and hit off the iron. Demetrius Johnson with the board. Bounce pass over to Thornhill. Left side. Juan goes up with 2 hands. Not exactly all the way to the rim as he was impeded by Tyler Vest. That'll be the 4th on Mr. Vest, if it is on him.
Yeah, you're right. Vest and Thornhill having a nice little battle. Thornhill blocked Tyler Vest's dunk attempt earlier. And then it looked like Juan Thornhill had an ambition to try and flush it down with the dunk. Vest was there to deny him, but Vest got whistled for the foul.
I want to say Vest is one of those multiple sport athletes.
Oh, yes. Racked up a lot of yards out of the backfield for Nelson County.
Juan misses 2. Rebound taken up. And Altavista will go back to the free throw line.
It's Darius Johnson with the rebound. Couldn't get it up because he was fouled.
It's against Barnett. He's out. Barnett will have to sit on the bench for the rest of this one as Darius Johnson will head to the stripe.
Yeah, and that's 2 starters that have fouled out now for Nelson County. Not going to help their comeback effort. Altivista's got to start cashing in from the free throw line, though, Bobby.
3 out of 10 from the stripe in this quarter.
Fourth quarter, of course, brought to you by Apple Markets. 44-30, Altavista 14-point lead. And Darius will sink his first free throw. Leave it to Darius to change the percentages for Altavista.
6 of 15 in this half. 7 of 16 in this half.
Yeah, Darius makes the second one, makes both, and he looked very comfortable, very confident from the free throw line.
Nelson has not scored in this quarter.
Wow.
And they haven't scored since Altavista had 38. 38-30 was our score towards the end of the third, and now it's 46-30. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
Do you ever have deja vu, Bob?
Not lately.
Didn't you just say that?
I try to repeat it. I try not to have it repeat. Man, I really need a break. I need a vacation. You and Oscar might take the rest of the season.
Yeah, right.
See if I can get recharged.
46-30, Agent 0, Kelly Kirby headed to the free throw line after being fouled in the process of shooting. Foul was on Richard Hubbard, his 3rd.
8th team foul, and Kirby cannot hit.
Nelson still hasn't scored this quarter, Bob.
Second quarter was not real advantageous for the Governors from the field. They had 6 points and only 1 field goal. The other 4 points came from the free throw line. Kirby misses both. So if it's not one area, it's the other, or when it gets both, it's real bad. Thornhill with the basketball.
Good look.
Sticks it into Darius Johnson from the right block, and Johnson gets it in 48-30.
Juan Thornhill with the bullet pass. Don't know how he sees the opening, but he does. Fires the fastball chest pass to Darius Johnson, and Darius takes care of the rest.
Vest with the basketball. Governors on a drought. Get it over to Gray, now to White. White for 3, in and out, no good. Rebounded by Demetrius Johnson.
Drought continues.
Thornhill with it. Thornhill, nice bounce pass into Darius. Darius can't get it to go. Demetrius follows and gets in 2. Brandon Garrett wants a timeout.
Yeah, that's what a good brother is there for, to follow up the miss. Darius couldn't get it in, so Demetrius does. Timeout, Nelson County.
Colonels on a 12-0 run. 4:49 left to go in this one. We'll be back after this on KD Country.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Darius Johnson, Demetrius Johnson, Juan Thornhill, Jacob McClure, and Dylan Allen on the floor for Altavista. Brandon Gray, Tyler Vest, Kelly White, Keenan Patrick. I hate when I do this because I always miss a fifth guy. Kelly Kirby. How can I miss Agent Zero? Governor's on a bit of a scoring nightmare right now.
Those secret agents are good at blending in and hiding. Yeah, they haven't scored all quarter.
Vest has it spin around and fall out. Darius almost kind of tapped it up and in the hole. And the foul is going to go against Nelson County.
It might be on Vest. I believe that would be 5 on him, wouldn't it, Bob? It's not on Vest. It's on Patrick.
His third.
Yep. This is going to send Darius Johnson to the free throw line. It'll be 2 shots. Nelson County's committed 10, so they're in the double bonus. Hey, Bob, we're still celebrating the 50 years as regular season is wrapping up here. Let's give a shout-out to our good friends Chester Brockwell and Mr. Ron Campbell. We had Chester on in football season. We had Ron on in basketball. Ron said he listens all the time. I'm sorry that you have to listen to Bob all the time, Ron, but...
Me too, Ron. 52-30, Darius sinks 2.
Both free throws in. And let's give a shout out to Mr. Mark Slusher. We're still going to try and have him on at some point this season. And how about Jerry Rice while we're at it, the old assistant coach for Altavista? I know he still listens to him too, although he's probably resting up for a fishing trip tomorrow or something.
Still a young man.
Might be ice fishing tomorrow.
White tries to go down low. He's going the other way. It's on Nelson. It's on Vest. That's 5.
Yeah, gotta be honest, didn't see it, although it has been that kind of a physical game where both teams are going back and forth. Brandon Garrett didn't see it either, as he stands in disbelief, the head coach for Nelson County. Vest is done, so that's a 3rd starter that has fouled out for Nelson. And that might spell the end of their comeback effort, Bob. They trail by 22 with just over 4 minutes to play.
Well, I would say the comeback effort's being more thwarted by the lack of scoring, not necessarily
Very good point.
who's on the floor. Because right now, unfortunately, the Governors are not able to have that ball find the bottom of the bucket.
Excellent point. Timeout Nelson County. Coach Garrett wants to discuss some things.
We'll take a timeout as well. 52-30, 4:15 to go in regulation.
Check out these new in-store specials at your local Apple Market. Energize with 2 12-ounce Red Bulls for just $5. Or grab an extra large bag of Doritos for just $3.49 and a 24-pack of Coke only $6.99. Or enjoy a tasty chicken tender sandwich for just $2.49 at Riverside or Main Street and Gretna Apple Market locations. Visit the Apple Market's convenience stores soon. You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista firmly in control here with 4:10 to go. Up 22. Bob Alvis, Kyle Haney, and the best PA man in the business, Kenny Hunt.
And the best producer in the business, Nick Bailey. Josh Walker going to be fouled in the act of shooting.
I think the foul's against Patrick. It is.
He has 4.
Yep. 3 Governors have been disqualified tonight.
Yeah, 5 fouls already picked up by 3 of their starters. Patrick is not a starter, Keenan Patrick, but he has 4 fouls nonetheless.
Walker had that one shake, rattle, and roll out. No good. Apple Market 4th quarter here, 4:03 left. 53-30 as Walker sinks a second. Governors with the rock. Taylor. Up top, guarded by Poindexter. Gives it off to Kirby. Kirby guarded by Thornhill. Kirby. Over to White. White for 3. Front iron, no good. Ball's going to bounce around and fall in the hands of Taylor. Taylor tries to bounce pass inside. Walker comes away with it. Now over to Poindexter. Colonels will have to sit for a few days now as they await a impending playoff on Friday. Demetrius Johnson, sticks in 2. 55-30 Altavista.
Good job by Demetrius. Got it close. Went off the glass. Got it in. Extends the lead out to 25. And boy, this It's a 4-point lead for a while. Now it's all the way out to a 25-point lead. Things are going the Colonel's way so far here in the fourth quarter, Bob.
Maybe I should bring a thesaurus with me because I don't know what's up from a drought. But whatever it is, this is it. Because Nelson has still had almost 5 minutes where they have not been able to put the ball in the hole. Not for a lack of effort. I mean, they've gotten some shots up, and some have been good looks. Iron's just been not friendly to the visitors from Livingston.
Yeah, they've had a few rattle in and out, and they've had some chances from the free throw line as well. So you're right. They've had some decent looks. Hadn't got any in yet in the fourth quarter, though.
Andrew Saunders seeing his first action of the night. Kirby misses, and he's going to be whistled for the offensive foul. And that is Kirby's fourth.
Pribble taking the charge for Altavista. Nice play, and you get a nice applause for Jacob McClure as he checks out of the game. Don't know if that's the last time we'll see him or not, but it's very possible.
Chandler Pribble, Chase Short, Navy Jones, Eric Poindexter, and Josh Walker out there, and I have a feeling this is going to be a one-by-one thing of getting the seniors out so they can get a nice little round.
Right.
Nico Tucker's at the table. Poindexter drives in. Chase Short for a triple. Three-pointers up. Off the front of the iron, no good. And a foul is going to go against Eric Poindexter.
I think it might be on Canavis Jones coming in over the top. Let's wait and see who the whistle, who the official gives the foul to.
Shows Poindexter on the board.
Then I was wrong, and you were right. And right here comes Josh Walker out to a nice applause. Handshakes all around from his teammates on the bench, and Nelson County's going to go to the line and shoot a 1-and-1. Najee Taylor, 19th foul of the half for Altavista. Nelson's got to break this scoring drought sometime, Bob, and they do.
55-31. Comes with 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure when Barnett had the bucket in the third quarter, but I know it was late.
Yeah.
Or midway through at least, so good chunk of time off the clock without the Colonels, or without the Governors getting two, or three, or one.
But they got two there as Taylor knocks down both. Ryan Krager checking in the game for him. Some new faces out there for both teams.
Krager has the bushy look going like Nico Tucker had a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Poindexter with the basketball. Chase Short, Navy Jones, Chandler Pribble, Nico Tucker, Eric Poindexter on the floor. Poindexter drives all the way in, puts the shot up, no good. And the foul is against Nelson County. I think it's against Saunders. We'll see what the board says. And it is on Saunders.
Yeah, just his first. Give Poindexter a lot of credit. Saw a little seam in the defense, ducked the shoulder, drove to the basket hard. Nelson County collapsed and fouled him. First free throw, no good for Mr. Poindexter.
Taylor going to come back in for Kirby for the Governors.
2:20 remaining in the ball game. Subway postgame show following this.
Second one no good. Nico Tucker with the board. Won't get the fall, and Tucker headed to the stripe. And Dylan Allen is going to check in on the dead ball.
And it's the fifth foul for Keenan Patrick, so he's done. A fourth player is fouled out now for Nelson County. Aggressive rebound by Nico Tucker on the missed free throw. Snatching it off the rim and going up strong. Get fouled.
Patrick becomes the fourth horseman with 5 fouls now.
There you go. And Eric Poindexter checks out of the game to a nice applause. So all the seniors are out. Dylan Allen substituted in for him.
Tucker, front irons the first. Tucker, Pribble, Short, Jones, and Allen on the floor for Altavista.
Second one up for Nico Tucker. No good. Rebounded by the Governors. Just over 2 minutes to play in the basketball game here from Altavista High School.
And I'll tell you, two of these guys really haven't been, I don't want to say on the team, but Navy didn't come up until the William Campbell game. Dylan Allen didn't make his first appearance till the Appomattox game. So two of these guys haven't even really been in uniform that long at all.
Right. Both Dylan Allen and Canavis Jones still trying to find their way as varsity players, and this is valuable minutes for those two guys. All the action they can get is going to be beneficial.
Tucker, I don't know if he was a little miscommunication between him and Allen, as Allen kind of got up in the air before throwing it. Nico unable to get on the same page. Minute 45 to go.
And that's probably one of those things where you don't play a whole lot. You've been out all year, just 2 games, so not exactly that unspoken communication. That chemistry might not be there yet.
Well, and I mean, even in practice, I mean, Dylan Allen hasn't been cleared for but so long, and, you know, Navy was with the JV guys for a good while. I think he's had some select varsity practices here and there. But, you know, like we mentioned, not a long time of getting to know each other in terms of what one guy's going to do on the floor. Minute 39 to go. You can observe all you want to, but until you're out there with the guys, it's a little different.
Very true. Janavis Jones on the free throw stripe. He'll hit the first one. 56-32 now as the Altavista Colonel lead. Jones ready to try the second.
Don't think Altavista can really feel good about their effort from the stripe, though, tonight. 1 of 2 from Navy. I'll check out those numbers later, but they have not been solid, steady Eddie at all.
You can imagine that would be addressed in the locker room, and something that will be worked on all week with the extra practice time. No games until Friday in that district regular season playoff game.
And if for some reason Gretna beats Dan River, then Altavista is going to be your district champions. Then the district tournament would start Friday, and Altavista would not play until the following Tuesday.
Good point. And that is, again, Gretna's not a team that you can overlook. They played Dan River close once this year, and they played Altavista close both times.
Navy Jones over to Dylan Allen. Allen gives it up to Pribble. Pribble lobs it underneath to Tucker. Tucker takes it up. No good. And there will be a foul there. And it will send Nico Tucker to the stripe. Foul is on Clarence Hughes.
And it's just his first, Bob. That's not many guys on Nelson County's team can say they just picked up their first foul with under a minute to go. Free throw no good from Tucker. Nice pass from Pribble on the lob to get it to Nico down low in that low block. See if Nico can cash in on the back end of the free throws.
Second shot is up. No good. Tucker left a little early, I think.
Yep.
Going over to Nelson. You know, we talk about the battle of the brothers tomorrow with the Harbaughs. Interesting story. Mr. John Vasberry, former athletic director at Brookville, once coached with Jack Harbaugh, the father of John and Jim.
Yeah, and Jack, of course, was a great coach back in his day, passing some of those genes on to his 2 sons. You get an illegal screen by Mr. Clarence Hughes. I think it was on Hughes, wasn't it?
I think it was Malcolm White.
Well, you may be right. I think, yep, you are. Malcolm White, 6'8", 305-pounder. So you can imagine when he sets his screen, people take notice, Bob. And that time it was an illegal screen.
But if you're going to a Super Bowl party tomorrow and you know John Vasberry, there's a little interesting trivia nugget you can throw out.
It's a small world.
And I believe it's John Harbaugh that is brother-in-law of Tom Crean, who is the head coach at Indiana.
Right.
You mentioned a big game tonight with the Wolverines of Michigan.
Yep.
There's no Michigan connection I have to anything right now to mention. So
yeah, I'm sure there's a connection in there somewhere, but yeah, it's definitely a small world. As you and I have talked about more than a few times, might not be small enough for Nelson County. That bus ride home is going to seem long tonight, but they'll get back on the horse and ride next week.
Three-pointer hoisted by the Governors, no good. Rebound still loose. Chandler Pribble picks it up. Pribble tries to head north. Lost it, picked up by White, and Pribble is going to be called for a reach, as that will stop the clock with 7.3 seconds. The only Michigan connection I have is I do have a friend that I went to elementary school with who is in the academic relations that works with the football team a lot. So
wow. And that is
now we've come full circle. First one up by White, no good.
I've got to believe our listeners are blown away by that little nugget there.
Now,
just giving you a hard time.
When Rich Rodriguez was the head coach of Michigan, we can spin that back to local connection because of Brad Bradley.
Right. Free throw in, Big man Malcolm White made 1 of 2. Ball gets inbounded for the Colonels. That'll run out the clock. Altavista, big win here over the Governors, 56-33.
We'll take it to a timeout as the Colonels rack up one more win on the season on 105.5 KD Country.
Try a variety of daily lunch specials priced under $4 at El Cazador Restaurant. The people that brought the first Mexican food to the area 13 years ago and still going strong 7 days a week. Come by for Mexican or American food, all reasonably priced, with drink specials and great service too. Voted best Mexican restaurant by you, their customers, El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, Main Street in Altavista. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant thanks you for your loyalty and your business.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista, very strong second half. They won that second half 32-13. That's what gave them the final margin at 56-33. Bob Alvis, Kyle Haney back here as people mull around on senior night, and I don't want to say their goodbyes for the last time this season, but at most, you're probably looking at 3 more games here.
Well, that's a tough one.
2 or 3 tops.
Depends on what happens. Well, no, I won't say 2 or 3 tops. If Altavista beats Dan River and wins the district, that would be possibly 2 games in the district tournament.
Right.
Then you could have possibly 3 games in the region tournament.
But only 1 here.
My math tells me, oh, that's right, because you have to host the game up in
Way to go, know-it-all.
Bob Allis
think you're throwing one on me.
One up me this time. Maybe I'm the one that needs to answer the Groundhog Day alarm clock and wake up. You're right. Not too many games left here at Altavista High School. And, you know, Colonels are still undefeated at home.
Right. Now, if you get to play in more games at some point, the regional semifinal, if the Colonels have a higher seed, would be at Amherst County High School. The regional finals already set for Spotswood. With the way the VHSL does the super sites, if Altavista, again, is the quote-unquote host, I believe it's at Salem at the Civic Center. Then the state semis and state finals are at Richmond.
You're right.
At the Siegel Center.
I give you a hard time for being in space sometimes. I think I was the NASA astronaut on this one.
And the ladies would have 2 more here, I believe, tops, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't think they got anything left in the regular season.
Right.
Maybe 1, but I don't think so.
No.
So, and then the district semifinals and district finals, barring they win. If the district finals do not involve Altavista, don't come to Altavista High School for the tournament championship game.
Right. Yeah, just keep your radio tuned to 105.5 or kdcountry.com. We'll have the promos.
Or your browser.
I said kdcountry.com. We'll tell you when and where the games are going to be. And we'll be there regardless.
And one thing we don't talk about enough is if you're one of those fancy people, those big shot types that has a phone, the smartphone.
Yes.
Now, I know it's kdcountry.com.
Yeah, sometimes you have to download that TuneIn app.
Right.
You can get that, and you'll be all set to go and listen to us whenever, wherever, however. We encourage all sorts of listening. You can always get Robert to cater your listening party.
Right. I encourage that.
Big sub while you sit around the radio and listen to the game in the comfort of your own home. Robert will take care of you. It is the Subway postgame show. 2 great locations, Main Street and the Walmart on the Clarion Road. Subway, eat fresh.
And can I give Subway 1 more props?
I'd love to.
Well, actually, a few more.
Yeah.
You got the pizza, which I also endorse. I tried a steak pizza last week, too. That's also very good. I'm still a buffalo chicken guy on
That's
the pizza.
Bob Alvis, the buffalo chicken.
But you can eat healthy because they have apples as a side if you're getting ready to run any big races.
You can get a salad.
You can get a salad. And even with the cookies, it tells you how many calories. So if you're eating cookies, you know how much you got to burn off when you're on the treadmill or on the elliptical. And they even have the prepackaged cookies now, but they're baked fresh to where it's not like they're sitting there for 6 days.
Right.
So, Subway, 2 locations, Main Street and inside the Walmart.
It doesn't get any better. There's just the customer service, which we always talk about.
Good crew tonight. Great crew.
Yeah.
I don't want to say good. That's insulting.
Yes.
So, we'll come back and wrap it up with final stats, players of the games, and more. Altavista gets the win over Nelson County, 56-33 on 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Todd Hall, president of First National Bank. For over 100 years, we have proudly served our customers in Central Virginia, and we're excited about continuing to provide financial solutions into the future. At First National Bank, our focus is on you, the customer, and delivering a very high level of service is our top priority. In fact, our employees are empowered to make decisions that provide you an extraordinary customer experience. So stop in one of our 8 local branches and give us a try. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Back here on 105.5 KD Country, your home for Altavista High School athletics for a very long time.
Yeah, 50 years.
50 years,
to be exact,
to be precise.
Yeah.
And I mean, think of all the voices that have called games on this show, come on for the interviews, you know.
Guest stars, you know.
I would bet it's in the hundreds.
I think you're probably...
If we're talking all the interviews and all the,
right,
you know, play-by-play guys, even, you know, the one-timers we bring in for some guest appearances on the color analyst, because we've had, you know, guys like Tom Brown, Jeff Monroe,
right,
Paul Baldwin. I mean, you know, I wonder if they did that back in the day, if they ever just pulled a coach. Or was I innovative on that one? Can I give myself one piece of credit today?
I'm not ready to give you any credit just yet. I want to talk to Chester and Ron again and ask them first. But no, you definitely have brought on some great guests, and you're right. It is takes more than one person to make this show happen, and we've been fortunate to work with some great ones in the past. Our producers, as well, have always treated us great and made us sound, don't want to use the word good, but as good as possible. And the Colonel basketball team doesn't hurt either, Bob. No. They win a whole lot more than they lose. They get another W tonight in a district game over Nelson County. They finish the district season at 11-1. They assure themselves at least a share of the regular season title. If Dan River wins against Gretna, then it'll be Dan River Altavista Part 3 in a playoff game to determine the regular season champ. But like I said, Altavista is at least assured a co-championship regular season, and they are now 16-1 on the year overall, which is a pretty doggone good record, particularly when you talk about a team that only has 3 seniors and has a bunch of youth, bunch of sophomores, and even some freshmen roaming around out there.
Can I tell you something interesting? I think you'll find it interesting. 13 points by the Governors in the second half. Only 3 field goals.
Wow.
Everything else was from the stripe.
And that's a testament to Altavista's great defense.
Yes, I was going to say absolutely 100%. I mean, that's, you know, give the Colonels a nod and a tip of the hat on that, Kyle, as I'm adding up the final numbers here on the Subway post-game show. Eat healthy, eat fresh, eat often at Subway in Altavista. Do you want to go ahead and get the sponsors out of the way just while I'm still tallying, or do you want to just talk about something different?
We never just get them out of the way, but we will mention our fantastic sponsors.
Wrong verbiage on my end tonight a lot.
No, but it's okay. It's Groundhog Day. You're allowed a few mistakes. And, yeah, our sponsors, we really couldn't do it without them. We thank them for their support all year long. And, again, playoffs are coming up. Still time to get in on that. Call 369-1055 if you're interested in sponsoring the Altavista boys or the Altavista girls, or both, because opportunities are available. But these fine folks made this one possible. Apple Markets, weekly specials at all 3 locations. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving family since 1905. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Feller Chevrolet, where a short drive will save you money. They sponsor the YouTube rebroadcast as well. El Cazor Mexican Restaurant, voted best Mexican restaurant by their customers. Bob and I included in that list. You can't eat at Subway all the time, Bob. You got to head to El Cazador some. English is your complete home center. See them for Atrium Vinyl Windows. First National Bank focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience, as Todd Hall said during the timeout. And, of course, Walmart. Thank them for your streaming audio online at kdcountry.com. Walmart, save money, live better. And I'm sure all the folks in Buena Vista interested in the Buena Vista Bowl and in the entire Lexington area. We know Coach Cardellaro and Coach Garrett, their fan base extend outside the Buena Vista.
All over the Commonwealth.
Exactly.
I mean, Mike Cardellaro went to Emory and Henry.
Right.
Brandon Garrett went to Bridgewater. So you got ODAC Warfare as well.
That's right. And kdcountry.com, you can listen wherever you are, whenever you want. It's always on.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing.
There you go.
Final numbers tonight. First off, for the Governors, no players in double figures, but they had a lot of different guys get in the books. Kelly Kirby finished with 6. Dre Brown finished with 6. They trailed Brandon Gray for the lead. He had 8. 3 apiece from Kelly White, Keenan Patrick, and Tyler Vest. 2 points apiece from Tony Barnett and Najah Taylor. Altavista, 3 guys in doubles. Darius Johnson threw in 16. Juan Thornhill scores 15. Demetrius Johnson throws in 11. 3 points apiece from Eric Poindexter, Josh Walker, and Jacob McClure. Interesting 3 seniors. They each have 3 points. 2 points apiece from Dylan Allen and Richard Hubbard. And Canavis Jones finishes with 1 free throw. 56 total for Altavista, 33 total for Nelson County. That brings us to the exciting player of the game pageantry here on KD Country. Kyle, Nelson County, I will let you go first tonight.
I got to go with my man, Agent Zero, Kelly Kirby. Fantastic job tonight. He's quick, and he plays great defense, and he brings the flair to the game as well.
Brandon Gray's my guy. Hit a few trifectas, hit a few from 3, and I thought he did a solid job defensively. You know, Nelson County's not going to get a lot of credit defensively tonight because they gave up 56 and they lost the game. But I thought defensively they made Altavista struggle with some tough looks. And, you know, I think Altavista likes to run clock on patience, but I don't think it was all, you know, I think Nelson was forcing them to be patient tonight, which I think gives credit a little bit to the defense as well.
Yeah, Nelson's defense was very stingy for 3 quarters. Unfortunately, they just couldn't sustain it the entire ballgame.
Altavista, player of the game. I'll let you go first again.
Well, I know you don't like the combo platter, but I got to go with a combination of 3 guys. I'm going with our 3 seniors, Bob. Eric Poindexter, Josh Walker, and Jacob McClure. I thought they brought the energy. They brought the enthusiasm. And, you know, some of those younger guys, maybe the loss from last night was still festering and lingering around a little bit. Seniors wanted to make sure they got the W in this one and make sure they looked good. And they all scored 3 points. You know, they didn't want to one-up each other, so they all had to carry the same point total in there. I'm going to go with the 3 seniors. Fantastic career those guys have had, and it's not over yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully it's got 3 more tournaments in it with a district, a regional, and a state.
The 3 is the magic number.
I'm going to go Juan Thornhill. Juan, I thought, took some leadership roles tonight as well. You know, I saw him over there talking to Coach Cardellaro. It looked like, you know, hey, I think, Coach, I see this, I see that type of thing. And Juan hustles. I mean, if Juan's not on, you know, we always talk about guys getting on the floor, but I don't think we give Juan enough floor burns each evening, because Juan's on the floor 3-4 times at least each night. And you mentioned 3 is the magic number. Tomorrow is the 3rd of the month, and I want to wish my parents, who hopefully are listening, a happy anniversary. It's more than 3 years. I know that for them in the marriage department. So happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Alvis. Hopefully I can make you proud one day.
I think you've already made them proud, Bob. I know the Alvises are a good bunch. And, of course, your pop, he taught you everything he knows. But he didn't teach you everything. Wait a minute. I messed it up again. I always mess up that saying. The bottom line is Mr. Alvis taught you well, and your mom is a special person as well, so I'm sure their anniversary will be excellent, and you'll have something else to celebrate besides the Super Bowl tomorrow.
At this point, it's probably a good idea to say goodnight. Definitely a big thank you to Nick Bailey.
We've both had our hiccups tonight.
Mike Cardellaro and Brandon Garrett, and luckily Groundhog Day only falls once a year for us. Kyle Haney, always a pleasure. We will talk to you next week sometime, my friend. Friday, there's going to be basketball.
There you go.
Regardless, even if there's no playoff, the tournament will start for Altavista. Actually, it wouldn't, because they'd have to buy. Never mind.
Stay tuned to KD Country.
All the time. For Kyle, this is Bob. We'll talk to you down the road. Altavista 56, Nelson 33. Have a great weekend, everyone.